Hey Ben, what's the Astec safe?
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Aztec Curling Challenge at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center here in Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan. We're just barely on the Saskatchewan side here. I'm Chris McQuaid, and alongside Brandon Cookson, we're excited to be back again this year.
Yeah, good evening. Hi, everybody. Excited to be here, commentating again with Chris. We had a good run last year, doing a few games.
Hard to believe it's been a year already.
I know.
And you had a scramble. You just got off the ice. Big win with Team Manners. So
yes,
it
was a great game. Yeah, we played against Team Nap from Saskatchewan. They were the Saskatchewan reps at the Briar a couple years ago. So yeah, it was a great win. So. Long day, but excited to be here and commentate this great game. So it's Team Whyte with the hammer in the first end. Team Jacobs throwing yellow here. First rock here, Ben Hebert.
It looks like a really close draw there for hammer. So
yeah,
we're gonna have two really good teams here. We're gonna be in for a good one.
Yeah, this will be a real treat. These teams have been both, of course, some of the top teams in the world. Team Jacobs, world number 4, Canadian ranked number 3. And Team Whyte here is from Scotland, of course, and ranked world number 7. So both have had a good, consistent season, and we'll be looking to do some damage here at the Astec Safety Challenge.
Looks like we've got a tight center guard there right off the hop, so maybe going to play aggressively right off the hop.
14-4.
Yeah, looks like it.
Or just leave it half out.
The top teams do that so often. Even in our games this morning, we played Team Mowat, and yeah, they go hard right off the beginning. You know, play aggressive and put some rocks in play. The other thing that these top teams have is the high hard ones. So yeah, they like to put lots of rocks in play and mix it up.
Wasn't that far away now. Might be the stone.
And Hebert delivering his second stone. Yellow stones.
Got a little good boost, but I got a little light.
Yeah,
lost the hammer to Team Whyte here. So.
Yeah, looking for the freeze here, even a tap. You want to make sure on these shots, these are critical for setup of the ends. The leads are so critical in today's game. They're critical for the strategy of an end. If the leads don't get their rocks in precise spots, completely changes your game plan for an end.
And talk about a great front end. There's between the 4 of these guys, there's 52 Grand Slam of curling titles. All 4 played in the Olympics. 3 have won gold medals.
Yeah.
Just quite a resume for this team.
Yeah, very impressive lineup. Yeah, as you mentioned, all been the Olympics, multiple Canadian world champions. They're an impressive team.
I wasn't totally sure, so I didn't say anything.
And equally as impressive, Team Whyte. They're always in the mix at the Grand Slams. They're just, you know, I believe they made one final last year of the Slams and lost that, but they're just right on the doorstep here and also one of the best in the world. They're chasing Team Mowat for that best team in Scotland currently. So
red sitting pretty nice here with 2 stacked, one right on top of the other here in the 4-foot. Looks like they are sitting 2 at the moment.
Yeah, that was a great shot from you and Kyle, lead for Team Whyte. Nice setup with hammer.
Getting his first.
Looks good. Yeah.
Brett's looking just to get right to the nose here. Nose, and leave his shooter in a good spot. Doesn't want to roll off, so you see Ben here on the curl side here, trying to get to curl.
Just going to spill out to the open side.
And a good shot, not quite what they're looking for. It did roll off, so Team Whyte still got opportunity here to sit 2 somewhere, apply some pressure to Team Jacobs.
Looks like they're looking for the hit and roll here, Brandon.
Yeah, and I heard them say 11-5, so that's about a board weight takeout. So you can see this team very precise on their takeout weights. They want exactly 11.5 seconds, hog line to hog line. So black line that was just released from the stone to the other black hog line on the other side there. So 11.5 seconds between those 2 hog lines.
Going hard for the curl again on this one.
Yeah, and this looks close. They're going to be real close.
They actually roll a little further than they wanted to there, maybe, Brandon.
Yeah, overrolled and left a little bit of a pocket. Might be a double here for Team Jacobs.
Team Jacobs is one of the best teams out there with these high weight hits and making a lot of granite move at once.
Yeah, there's not many teams that don't have, if you don't have this high hard one, that's almost a necessity in today's men's game. You need that high hard one shot to be able to make a few rocks go at a time. And yeah, Brett is, this is one of his signatures. He's great at these shots.
It's to be close here.
Yeah, really going hard. Oof. Great sweep by Ben Hebert, and perfect shot. Got the double right in the pocket.
Do push the second right out the back.
Yeah, fantastic sweep. I thought coming in that was almost going to wreck on the guard, and you see, oof, just squeezed by. Yeah, great shot by Brent Gallant. Great sweep by Ben Hebert. Ben Hebert definitely has been one of the best career top leads for such a long time, and he makes a living out of sweeping those rocks. He's a beast on the room.
13. Clean. Clean. Yep.
Oh, no.
Clean.
That 4 was looking right at you.
So again, looking just for nose here for Team Whyte.
They're all good.
They'll hit it on the nose and stick right there, frozen to the yellow. Let's do a second shot.
Yeah, great shot by Duncan McFadden. Sorry, I might be butchering some of these Scottish names. I'm not even going to try and do a Scottish dialect. Chris, how's your Scottish?
Did try last year, so.
Oh, God, yeah, we're not going to, yeah.
Of course, the second year of the Astec Curling Challenge, and what a great event.
Yeah, incredible event. Yeah. The organizing committee has done such an incredible job. All the volunteers, the ice crew, I can attest to the ice has been fantastic to play on. Both games that we've played today, so great ice conditions, of course. Darren Moulding, former Brier champion, is doing the ice here. He came to Lloydminster to help our local ice makers, Brian McClaskey and Graydon Lomas. And yeah, the ice has been fantastic. Just a great event, and one of the biggest prize purses outside of the Grand Slams, if not the biggest, with $125,000. So these teams, not only they're playing for huge valuable points at this event, and they're prepping for the next Grand Slam that's coming up next week, but they're playing for a lot of cash. I'm playing for a lot of cash too,
yeah,
Chris.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
We have full faith in you. I think you guys maybe face whoever comes in second in this game, right, tomorrow. So.
We play second place of this game is what we looked at the draw, so yeah, so get a good scouting report on this game on the teams. I don't anticipate I'll see too many weaknesses, though. They're great shot makers, both these teams. So, yeah, it'll be a good one.
Looks like Jacobs is looking at the force here, Brandon, trying to come down on top of that red and just overcurl a little bit.
Yeah, and still quite a good spot. It's going to be hard. So you can see Team Whyte is going to try bail out here and try peel the guard, maybe try and do a little bit of a run back. Just a peel, and that's fine. That's an acceptable result for that shot.
Kind of guarding 3/4 of this one.
Jacobs is going to double down on guardless now.
Kind of
Happy to just concede that one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Palm for a 3 guard, so that's kind of tighter to the rings.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
The reason they wanted a little bit tighter, of course, is just to not allow, if it's a long guard, you might allow Team White to play a little come-around tap with some quiet weight if the guard is too long. So just looking for a guard, maybe just 2 to 4 feet, something like that outside the rings.
Mark Kennedy delivering his second.
I got less.
Yeah, and I don't think we mentioned this off the top, but this is an A-side semifinal, so the winner of this game will be in the A final tomorrow. Loser, of course, as we mentioned, gets to play the Team Manners.
Bright and early.
Bright and early at 9 a.m.
No, is it just Lars there?
Pretty nice result there. Sitting one buried. Also got their own yellow rocks in top 8 there.
Yeah. Yeah, so he talked about a nose, maybe just a shade high, trying to double off those yellows and kind of roll for a corner a little bit.
I think it's more just release, Brad.
It's Robin Bryden and his second stone.
Just a little unfortunate there. Ended up clipping the back one over curling a bit, and Red still sits one.
Yeah, so Jacobs was shot prior to that, so they are shot, I guess, is now Team White, which is a little bit of a positive of that result. But looks like Jacobs has this yellow-red queued up. It's pretty automatic to sit 2 and still get the force or potential steal.
Let's get Brad Jacobs looking at this house with his first upcoming. Without hammer. Team White sitting 1.
See if we can listen in to Team Jacobs a little bit, what they're discussing.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I was worried about is you don't really have a play with it on your next one either. That was my only concern.
This boy coming out the sheet.
So if you made that bump there and rolled the shooter, you might have a little bit of something.
So, we like to be a fight with anyone, to be honest. But
Usually one of the boys in the game. Okay. Okay.
I don't think I'd back myself if I get most people to.
So they're just elected to tap their own yellow over a little bit there, Brandon.
I think that's what they landed on.
Lane up a little bit.
Yeah, and I like this shot. And initially, Brad Jacobs was talking about the intern freeze, which is very precise. It's perfect top 4 weight and around a couple guards. So if you bounced off, that would be a great situation. So
Pretty
yeah, I
fresh
like
pass
this.
over there too, I guess.
Yeah, and I like this call. That yellow onto red angle is really sitting nice for Team Jacobs right now. Looks like they're just trying to tap this, maybe be shot, even if they're not. Just cut down that scoring area for Team White. It's Brad Jacobs with his first stone here of the first end.
Clean! 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 Yep!
Close here, they're just keeping it clean.
Yeah, you always know they're close when they're calling clean. Now Ben Hebert on the curl, trying to get right to the face of that yellow.
It's a great shot there. Nice little tap, still second shot, but
Yeah,
in a pretty nice spot, tough to get out of there.
pretty good result. He wanted to get just a hair more curl of that. It has left, as tough as it is, the door is slightly open for Team White to, they're queuing up an angle freeze. If he makes this, they'll be sitting good with an opportunity for multiple ends here.
Probably.
These teams are always looking for very precise, almost perfection on these shots. So Brad would have wanted a hair more curl of that.
You know, if he makes this to the cups and you're getting to there.
I think that's close then.
Let's say he throws this in there and we're second shot. just wondering if we could guard. No, but then he's got the short run back. The red. We'll just have the red back.
Just try and cling on to touch the yellow.
As you indicated, Brandon, looks like Ross Whyte wants to just kind of quarter freeze this yellow.
We'll see.
Set himself up for multiple points here potentially with another shot yet to come from having Hammer.
Yeah, you bet. Precise shot for sure. He doesn't want to bounce off and set up a potential double for Team Jacobs, so wants to be just top 8 biting the 4-foot here.
Line's good. Yours looks so
Line's good to go.
Close. Yep. Yep. Hard line.
Going hard here for line now.
Yeah, they're almost early.
There's holding it out there.
Duncan McFadgen and you and Kyle here trying to drag this.
Really nice weight. Maybe just a foot light there, Brandon.
About 1 to 2 feet light there. And they had to sweep that just for the speed, and because of that, of course, they kept it straight and lost the line a little bit coming in. I don't know if there's a double here. I don't know if Brad Jacobs can get low enough on that red in the top 8 foot as we look at it, because he can't quite hit nose. He has to get a little bit low on that red to try and make the double. He'd have to probably play it with just quiet weight, and I don't know if that's there.
It's pretty well blocked by that center guard, the inside.
Yeah, there's a great look at it. So it's basically edge on edge. So not sure if that shot's there. They're looking at that yellow run in on the right, that yellow stone in the 12 foot as we're looking at it.
With the big weight that Brad can throw here, is a chance he hits that hard enough to get all 3 moving, maybe even that yellow, and really clear things out of there. Is he looking for something more precise here?
Yeah, I think it'd be potentially. We'll see where he puts the broom. I think they might be playing just more of a quiet weight, just control weight kind of tap. As much as he'd probably be itching to throw the high hard one here, the more weight you throw on these, the more likely the object rock you're running in might spill. So a little bit less weight. The yellow he's running in won't bounce off as far. So it looks like about, with the ice they've taken here, looks like they're throwing, solid control weight. You heard Mark Candy just say, got to hit about a half rock.
Just looking to drive this yellow straight back into the red shot rock, Brandon?
Absolutely, yep. Yellow onto red. Tough shot here. Final stone of the first end for Brad Jacobs.
Looking for some curl here.
Ben Hebert on it for the carve.
He'll move that red rock, but he didn't stick it and ended up rolling out the back with the raised rock.
Yeah, not what they're looking for. This does leave a run back, red onto yellow for 3 for Team Whyte. So pretty big miss there for Brad Jacobs. This is a huge opportunity for a potential big 3 for Whyte to start off this game.
Not with what we've seen over here.
That looks pretty straight back. Brandon's really
yeah,
in line there.
Basically looks like right on the nose here.
Ross Whyte with hammer, his last rock about to be delivered, and looking for a bunch here.
Yeah, big score. This is a huge shot. You want to capitalize on these big shots when you get these opportunities for a big end, especially against such a good team as Jacobs. That's why you hear him taking some extra time in the hack, getting settled here for this key last rock. Final rock of the first end here for Ross Whyte, looking for the run back for 3.
And has he got it? Run back, stick. And there it is.
Great shot. Yeah,
Great shot
there's
for
3. Right out of the gate here for Ross Whyte.
Ross Whyte capitalizes with hammer. Red Rocks leads 3-0 after 1.
and ACPA, going beyond accounting and tax. The assurance that experienced professionals that care are committed to providing you financial confidence and helping you reach your goals. We listen, we analyze, we advise, we deliver.
Welcome back to the Astec Safety Challenge here in Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan. It is big 3 points for Team Whyte throwing the Red Rocks here in the first end. That was a huge run back to get off to a great start for Team Whyte. Team Jacobs throwing the yellow here with hammer, then they'll be looking to get at least a couple back on the board. They don't want to go too hard here and give up a steal this end. Sometimes you see that a lot when you give up a big end. You go hard to get all the points back in one end, and you end up giving up a potential steal. So they'll just be looking for at least 2 here.
Yeah, of course, nobody likes to give up 3, especially in the first end, but lots of game here left, 7 ends you have to play, and Team Jacobs just needs to go to work with the hammer and
absolutely
get a couple back here.
Yeah, and if you're going to give up 3, there's no better time really, never ideal, but best to do it early, of course, with the 5 rock rule. As we know, there's lots of opportunity for rocks in play, and to eventually capitalize with hammer and get a big score back. Interesting call here, really interesting for Team Whyte with you and Kyle from the lead stones. They're looking for the corner guard tick, so you can't remove this guard out of play, of course, but they're looking to, because this corner guard's so tight to the rings, they're trying to tick it in so they can eventually hit it on their next rock. And definitely looks, to most curling fans, they think, oh, well, they just bumped them in for a shot. But that's actually a great shot that got rid of the corner guard for Team Jacobs, and now they can hit that rock in the 4-foot. Of course, Brad is going to cap that. He's going to throw a guard on that yellow with Ben Hebert. Second rock here, but yeah, you see more and more teams be playing that tick on the corner guard, and it's utilizing it as a real weapon to avoid giving up multiple points.
Yeah, really good opportunity to do that with the tight guard there and get it into play. Yeah,
very well executed by Team Whyte. We'll give you an update kind of around the rink here at the Lloyd Curling Club. On sheet 2, there's Team Jakes versus Team Balance. Team Jakes with a 1-0 lead after the first end. On sheet 3 is Team Carruthers versus the local team, the other local team, Team DeConnick Smith, and they had a blank end, so playing the second end, and Team Carruthers has hammer. Our feature sheet, of course, sheet 4. On sheet 5, the other game that's being live streamed is Team Tau versus Team Libis. Team Tau with the 1-0 lead after the first end. Sheet 6, Dunstone with a 3-0 lead over Team Returnes.
That's a big score in the first end against a really tough team, too.
Big score for Dunstone, absolutely, over Returnes. Yeah. And then finally, sheet 7, Team Howard and Team Guju. They also had a blank end. Team Brad Gushu has the hammer here in the second end.
Team Whyte freezing to this yellow, just bumping it back a bit. Yellow remains shot. And looks like play's coming back to the center. Brad's happy to put another one right on top of that one.
Yeah, and right now I would say Team Whyte's a little bit more happy with this house. They've gotten that 4-foot area again nice and shrink down. And Team Jacobs is going to have to work here for a little bit just to get their juice. see if they can open up that forefoot, and it's all going to start here with a freeze call for Brett Gallant.
Probably close. Probably now. Okay. Line only! Line only! Wait close!
Brett, of course, just won the Canadian mixed double trials with his wife Jocelyn, and will represent Canada at the Olympics
Get in there, get in there.
upcoming.
They will almost represent Canada at the Olympics. I'm sure they wouldn't want to go too far because they have to qualify at the World Championships first. They should have a great shot. They're such a great mixed doubles team. They have to place top 6, as what Brett was saying, at the World Championships in March. So yeah, that was a huge win for them, but they've got some work to do to still qualify Canada for the Olympics. So they have to place at least top 6 at that World Championship in March.
Kind of floated the whole way.
And yeah, Brett's such a fantastic player, not only in the 4-person game and the mixed doubles as well. Him and Jocelyn had a fantastic run,
you can freeze that back now, right?
going undefeated throughout that week.
Yeah.
So Whyte with the 3-0 lead, and without Hammer sitting 2 here now.
Then you got a chance to
Jake
stick
thinking a little bit about this next call.
Right? Probably not quite enough height. Yeah. Back 4, yeah. A good boost, but I thought a little light. Definitely light.
Scott delivers his second. Looking to come to this back red one here, Brandon.
Yeah, looks like they're playing the freeze right to the back. And it's a good call. I do like that call. To get that, Team Whyte would have to usually blast that out. Just a hair short. Line was perfect. If you followed that through, that would have been right back to that back red.
A fairly routine hit for Team Whyte here to hit that and roll to the center. But,
yeah, and he's just looking at the best spot to roll to not leave some sort of double combination for Team Jacobs to sit a double or even a triple. These top teams, again, they try to be so precise with the angles and cognizant of what they're leaving their opposition.
Well, lined up then. Go out your head and roll into it. Just try and make it go big, probably. Yep. 9.5, 10. Okay. Out.
just a nice control 9.5, 10 weight here, and kick their own red off the forefoot out to the open, it sounds like.
Wonder if I'll be able to get
yeah, and a good call. And the reason they're doing that, if they nose this rock, just stuck where it is, there might be a double and roll buried for Team Jacobs. So good call here. They're trying to separate all their red rocks.
That's kind of, yeah, that's whoa.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, good shot. Even though they tapped, they kicked their red a hair too far just to sit 3. There is no double for Jacobs, as you can see. Their own yellow is in the way of that double takeout. So looks like Brad has called that freeze right back to the back red again. And they should know this. They should be familiar with this spot. They just threw it. I suspect Mark will be close. Mark Candy preparing to throw his first rock of the second end.
One thing different is the churn now, as we've got a left-hander in the
We've got a lefty, absolutely. We love the lefties. They've got some cool skills. How good are you ambidextrous or anything, Chris? Do you got any
I can barely throw a rock with my right hand. I wouldn't want to try with my left.
Oh goodness, yeah.
They say that those that can't either coach or broadcast, I think, Brandon. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we're in the right spot.
Unfortunately, you can play as well as you proved this afternoon. So, great freeze here.
That is a beauty. Yeah, perfect shot.
If you have done it, it's okay.
And that's key for making this turn into a potential score for a deuce here for Team Jacobs. You can see Team Whyte here with Robin Bryden. They've called just to pick this yellow out, and they're likely going to lose their back red as well.
Miss it. Good shot.
Get rid of the freeze opportunity as well.
Yeah, nice shot. Well executed, and those shots are just almost so automatic for those teams. Just half rock or thinner with some speed. They were trying to pick it right off the face, actually, and try to not even remove their red. That would have been incredibly difficult. So, well executed.
Red looking to maybe make this run back and potentially
Guys,
set
if the halfway
one
hit
here
roll
and
away,
have third
stupid.
shot buried.
If the double might jam,
Executes this.
if I just roll away and
Yeah, and
So Mark's going to come down and talk about it.
yeah, they're just going to be cognizant of where they leave their shooter to avoid leaving a double. So we'll listen in here.
first shot. Yeah, the only other shot I was thinking is if he just made this. That was the only other shot. Yeah, just a 2, yeah. Yeah, I think it's the shot.
Yeah, and I tend to agree with Mark here. That is looks like a little bit more straightforward shot, and they'll be sitting 2 this way. If they went yellow onto red, they would not be sitting 2. Their shooter would not be out counting that red rock on the tee line in the 12-foot.
I think it's 12.
So we'll get a time here. We'll see just how accurate these top teams are. They called for 12 seconds. Again, that's hog to hog, so the 2 black lines. So they're looking for 12 seconds here. Just get the little trusty stopwatch out, Christopher.
Yep.
That might be too far. Like if you can just roll to the 4-foot line, I don't really know what he does.
Well, it would be the second.
Speed should be good here, guys.
Mark Kennedy's so good at these precision shots over the years.
I'm saying, yeah, but I think we're probably losing first.
Yeah, and very precise shot. This isn't an easy little hit and roll.
Easy, Benny. Easy, Benny.
Looking, so 12 seconds is about hack weight.
Clean.
Calling on the clean. There goes Ben Hebert.
Line is looking great here.
And look at that.
12.06. Doesn't get much closer than that. Just
Yeah.
a great hit and roll.
That is just how
Exactly as
precise
called.
they are.
Jacobs sits 2. Down 3 with hammer here in the second end.
Yeah, great shot by Mark Candy. The other bonus of that is, you know, these top teams are always worried about doubles, but the double here on the 2 yellows looks like it jams on their red. So that top yellow, if they went for the across the house kind of double, the yellow rock the Team Whyte would try and hit initially would jam on that red on the tee line. So great shot by Mark Kennedy.
10?
We're clubbing. We're good.
10, we're probably rolling here. Yeah, as long as we live on.
I know. You know, trust your gut. Like, I think your broom on both of those was perfect.
Just try to make the yellow.
Brett and I think, found a really similar line, so that's good.
So they're looking to roll here, Brandon, too, and get behind cover, make the shot for 2 a little more difficult. With a few rocks left to play.
Yeah, yeah. Right now it's looking really good for 2 for Team Jacob. So yeah, trying to hit and roll. Ideally, I think buried behind their own red guard or behind, of course, the yellow Jacob stone. Very precise hit and roll.
Really off and on this. Gonna roll a little too far. It's looking pretty good. It'll roll a little past that yellow top rock, but still behind the red higher guard.
Yeah,
So
that's a
great roll
beautiful
there.
shot. Yeah,
And they do sit shot just off the back of the 4, full 8-foot.
yeah. Another great replay for the fans watching at home, watching the live stream. Such great production here done by Maz Entertainment and Groovy Productions. Really appreciate the replays and the awesome live stream for everybody to watch the action, watch the rocks fly here from the Lloyd Curling Club. It's just day 1, and the amount of great shots and entertainment has been second to none.
Is Team Jacobs looking for a way to possibly generate 3 here, Brandon?
Sorry,
Like
that's
just
my
bumping that for 2.
skeptical. I don't see a 3 out of this situation just because they can't get the yellow rock that they're trying to promote and their shooter both buried at the same time. So yeah, looks like they're just trying to get shot rock here and play a precise tap. Still set up for 2.
Yes, as Mark said there, would be, even with a perfect shot, you'd be 4th, first and 4th, right? So
Yeah, so that shooter isn't going to count it. So if you're going for that yellow tap, you're just trying to get 2. You see Mark apologizing because he's just so good with the angles and the strategy that, I didn't see that hit and roll here off the
Bit of a
red.
guess, Brad, so
That
trust your
is a
gut here.
really good option, of course.
Yeah, it's gotta be close. Okay, sounds good.
Team Jacobs looking to hit and roll perfectly frozen. It's about half a rock, thick, half low. Trying to roll again right to that red frozen. Again, trying to set up for that multiple point end. Huge shot here for Brad Jacobs.
Don't think they're struggling this week with the market. We try some. I think we're good supers. I think they're very good supers as well. On that right side, I guess.
Jacobs delivers his first. Down 3 with hammer here in the second end.
Whoa! Whoa! Curl!
Calling for the curl right away from Ben Hebert, so Mark must have seen that Brad was just a little wide on this.
Keep going! Keep going! Any roll,
Ben
Brad!
Hebert really grinded on this.
Oof,
Brett
what
takes
a
over, what a
great
roll.
sweep.
Great sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. They thought that was wide out of his hand. And I think Ben already knows he's an incredible sweeper, but that was a great sweep to get that rock, to get that to curl and cut over there. That's a key thing that's changed so much in the game, those high sweepers. So the rock was curling away from Ben. For those of you at home who are wondering why they're sweeping on that side of the rock and why Brett Gallant is enjoying, they're trying to sweep on the high side of the rock. So the rock, as you can see, is curling away from Ben. And by doing that, sweeping it on the high side, they're trying to get more curl by doing that technique. So that's been a relatively new technique. It's been really Team Gushu was the initial adopters kind of that that new sweeping technique, and yeah, it's been in play not quite for a decade.
Yeah,
so
a lot of science behind that, hey, with your extra pressure on your forward stroke. And
yeah, it's really revolutionized and changed the game. There's always these new new studies, new research being done on the game.
Whyte delivers his last. We can prevent multiple
Looking
score
for
here.
the double takeout.
Wow, what a
great
great
shot. Fantastic double. Can tell Ross Whyte's feeling it. He is on fire. Just on, off the entire way. You knew that was close. That's a beauty.
Jacobs down 3 will be forced to find the full 8-foot, almost
Yeah.
4-foot, and draw for 1 here.
And he's going to feel like he's got his pocket pick this end. They were sitting, they had a good setup for 2 throughout this end, but Team Whyte has just been so precise with their hits and their angles. Yeah, a little bit deflating having to draw for 1 here, but a key shot to focus in here. Just needs a piece of the 4-foot with his last of the second end. Final
Kind of time
stone
are they looking
here.
for here, Brandon?
Yeah, just piece of the 4-foot.
Line's good.
On
You don't
off
have
here.
it.
This
You don't have
does look
backing yet.
close. Mark reminding them no
Okay,
backing.
Go ahead. Line's good. Line's good. Full 4. Full 4. Good shot, Brad. Good shot. Good sweep, guys.
Just a great draw by Brad to get his 1 after 2 ends here at the Astec Curling Challenge. Team Whyte leads Team Jacobs 3-1. We'll be back right after
Should we
this.
score? Get back.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. when I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
And we're back to the Astec Curling Challenge here at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center. Chris McQuaid alongside Brandon Cookson. Team Whyte leads Team Jacobs 3-1, and Whyte really limiting the damage there and takes the hammer back.
Yeah, really limiting the damage and then some. Just a great double by Ross Whyte, and the angle was super tricky on his last shot of the second end. And really a great force there. That's what they're looking for. They do have full control of this game right now, so right in the driver's seat. Well, they'll be looking to make sure that they keep this end clean. They want to at least score this end. Even blank would be reasonable. They're going to try to keep that center open to avoid a steal here to let Team Jacobs back into this game.
Looks like Ben Hebert's first stone just stayed out of the house there, within that free guard zone.
Curl when you can. Only when you can.
Yeah, those are ones where you hold your breath as a thrower. Just absolutely don't want to be in there. Allow the team
Especially with the
opposite to
deficit,
compete.
you're looking for anything you can get out front.
I didn't mind it.
Do another update just around the rink here. So Sheet 2, Team Jakes versus Team Balance. Still 1-0 after the first end, and they're wrapping up the second end here. Just a couple rocks left to go. On Sheet 3, scoreless versus Team DeConnick Smith versus Team Carruthers. 0-0 playing the third end. Team Carruthers with a hammer. Sheet 5, the other live stream game here tonight is Team Tau versus Libis, and Team Libis got a deuce in the second end, and they're leading Team 1, 2-1. On Sheet 6, Team Dunstone with a big 4-0 lead after 2 ends against Team Retornaz. And finally, Sheet 7, Team Guju got a deuce in the second end over Team Howard, and they're leading 2-0. I know there's always tons of Team Guju fans.
Anywhere you go, it seems like, for sure. He's a popular player and for good reason.
Yeah, one of the most popular teams and players in Canada and in the world. So we know you Team Guju fans, especially those on the East Coast, appreciate those updates on his game.
Here in our feature sheet, we're swiped up 3-1 on Jacobs, and looking to come around these two corner guards and coming deep. Is that a bit of a mistake there, Brandon?
Opens up the door for Team Jacobs for sure. They'll want to cap this right off. They'll want to freeze right down to that red. Looking for a potential steal set up with those double center guards by Ben Hebert. Key shot here for Brett Glant.
Okay. Top four. We got a little light too. Top four.
Just looking to come back four here, maybe even frozen with Glance first. Supers are going hard on this to get it back, and it'll come to rest just about top button.
Yeah, and a great shot. Yeah, still good result. Even though Whyte's sitting 1, he would have liked to be frozen right to that rock. This might leave an opportunity, as you can see here, for Team Whyte to play red onto yellow, the short run back. Just with control weight again. So these are kind of like we talked about earlier, Chris, on these run backs where they're looking for such a precise angle. They're just playing a nice control weight to make sure they control the object rock they're driving in. The more weight you play at this, the more likely the run back stone you're driving in is going to roll off. This looks very close, looking for half rock. Yeah. Good shot. Would have wanted to get that hair thinner to keep everything stuck behind the guards and buried, but great shot there.
So Whyte still sitting 3 now with hammer, up 3-1 in a great position here. The third end.
I think I like this shot. I'm just not sure what the weight
they do
is.
that one sitting behind the tee line. That could cause him some trouble, Brandon.
Yeah, and it looks like Brad Jacobs is going to kind of switch gears a little bit. He's going to, you know, he's not loving that red is sitting 3 right now. So going to play the hidden roll, try and get buried behind those double center guards. I know we mentioned it earlier, but yeah, Team Whyte, Scottish world number 7, they're really trying to dial in here. They're playing great tonight. They've won the Scottish Men's Championship in 2024, runners up at the Euro Series, 3rd at the Baden Masters, and 4th at the Grand Slam of Curling National.
It seems to be a real battle there in Scotland for the top team. There's so many good teams coming out of there, especially 2 of them here this week with Mowat and Whyte.
Like making this.
I didn't look like a lot of weight.
There are so many great Scottish, well, men's and ladies teams, but particularly the men's teams. I believe in the top 20 they have 4 teams in the top 20. So a lot of those Scottish teams are at the top of their game right now, and they have such a great program. I was talking to Bruce Mowat a little bit earlier today, and just talking about all the training and the work they put in at their training academy in Stirling. It's pretty incredible. So yeah, Scotland is definitely one of the European countries to watch here.
Earlier today probably feels like a lifetime ago for you, Brandon. You've been on the ice for 2 games today. Now you're in the broadcast booth. You're really
scouting the competition, right, Chris? Got to scout the competition for a game tomorrow morning.
Probably. At least for a couple. I don't think he could throw the in off on any of Robbins.
Jacobs does have yellow rock buried pretty good in there now. Sit shot.
Yeah, that was a great hit and roll by Grip Breckland.
Carl, so much.
Looking for the curl here, trying to keep the shooter around. Get that yellow out.
We'll open it up. Wanted to get a little closer to nose there, I think, Brandon?
Yeah, definitely, and wanting to get that yellow out of the rings, that increases Jacob's chance here for a force, leaving that. That yellow is a 4 shot, so be a little hard for Team Whyte to bring those 2 red on the left side as we're looking at it grouped together back onto the scoreboard. Team Jacobs recognizing all the reds in the rings. He's going to stay on the offense, down a couple points, and throw the guard.
Does feel like one of those kind of guard for your life situations when you see so many of the opposition's rocks in there?
A little bit, but I like the call. If you go into the rings or you try, you know, go yellow onto red takeout, that's just leaving almost an automatic double takeout back for Team Whyte. So this is the call. They're going to delay coming into the rings for a couple shots. I anticipate they'll play a couple guards. And Team Whyte will just clear those guards. It'll be that kind of classic cat and mouse. We talked, of course, about Team Whyte's season. Team Jacobs, of course, has had a wonderful season as well. World ranked number 4, and the third top. How do you say that, Chris?
Top 3 in Canada.
Top 3 in Canada. There you go. Yeah. 3rd ranked team in Canada. Of course, Brendan Botcher was the skip last year this season, and Brad Jacobs took the helm, of course, over summer. That was big news there. They have had some success this season. They won the Big New Floors Penticton Classic in BC, and were runners-up at the most recent Grand Slam of Curling National, and the Western Showdown, which was in Swift Current.
And they also finished 3rd at the points bet as well, so
yeah,
quite a few events under their belt this year.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they lost that Western Showdown to Team Cooey, who haven't been having the strongest year up until this point, and it was a huge event for Team Cooey.
Great pick there. dispatch that yellow rock, and Whyte now sits a couple, it looks like.
Yeah, great shot by Robin Bryden.
Yeah, I know. So there's no double. I know.
So precise, like a dart, with those big weight takeouts. That's just easy peel, clean all the way down, picks it right off the face. Team Jacobs still, though, they're going to, being down 2 without, they're going to keep the foot on the pedal here. They're going to try freeze down. It's a good opportunity with that red rock. The back foot.
To make this just a little bit better and maybe get a little more welded on there so it can't be picked out.
I would question we play the bump first, set it up. We play off it and don't make it, and they go right on top again and a whole load of bother. Maybe get one right in there first.
Getting close here, although it's a ways out there, so we may have to curl a bit here yet. It does, just a great shot by Mark Kennedy.
Great shot. So yeah, definitely not a straight pick off that one. So we've seen
this
this shots a couple times where they have those 2 rocks frozen. Team Whyte's going to try go nose-nose, get right to the face, and leave their rock as the frozen rock right on top. So it looks like just heavy draw weight, so they're not playing takeout weight at this, just kind of heavy draw, freeze, and then the sweepers can sweep it for the tap.
I guess we'll see what he does, eh? See what he does.
Easy.
There's curl.
Clean. Lines, hair high, the goods.
Let's leave it just a hair high, frozen.
Yep, line's good.
I was gonna say, if anything,
Hard. Yep, hard.
You and Kyle digging in here, trying to keep this rock straight.
It's maybe over curling a bit from what they had hoped for. Great weight, but looks like it will be second shot.
Yeah, perfect weight. Did over curl. I don't think that red-yellow angle that they have set up on the other side is accessible with those guards, so not quite the result they were hoping for here.
Yeah, that's pretty flat across there from that yellow.
It is there, though, and you can see Brad's concern with leaving them that shot. Respecting, of course, Ross Whyte and his big weight ability to come off that with the in-off. Listen in here.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, try to tap it a little bit in here.
Tap this too much, Brad, is risky. Maybe just pop your road out into the open and make a
T-line's
situation
good.
worse yet.
T-line's pretty cool.
Yeah, and another option, which I think they discussed, I'm not sure what they've settled on here. I think they are trying the freeze tap kind of shot on that red. So just kind of T-line weight would be what they're looking for, not too much weight. You don't want to tap off this and create a double or some sort of pocket for Team Whyte.
Yeah.
Too much and I feel heavy, Frank's wide, it's not great. Like you put it on the grip too tight, I just feel it light, it's like you're rather than just like when we're connected to one.
If they freeze this and off, it's quite nice to.
Brad Jacobs asking for a little more ice. Down 2 here without hammer. It's shot, but he's in a bit of trouble with the amount of red rocks around him.
Hey, line's good.
They call the hair heavy.
Yeah.
You can see Brent point his finger up.
Clean. Clean.
Back 4 is what
Clean.
they called.
Line's good. Stay close. Curl. Curl, Brett.
Liking the line here.
Yeah, Brett on the curl
Clean.
now.
Straight, straight,
Really
straight,
tight
straight,
to that
straight.
guard.
Straight,
Great line
straight.
call by Mark Kennedy. And they'll remain shot. Just an excellent tap there.
Yeah, good shot. They got a good angle off that yellow red.
first and third, it looks like.
Well, now even if he makes it, you can almost make
Yeah,
the
we'll
same
have a good
shot
look
and-
at the overhead here. Thanks for the replay. So first and fourth for, well, actually,
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's
It's
close
hard to.
between that
It is
back
close.
red one and
There's
the
a
white
little
one.
bit of the light there is kind of.
I think you could be right, though. That might be red at the back there.
Yeah, close for sure.
Regardless, sitting one and in a position to steal at the moment. So be nice to get one back here for Team Jacobs, I'm
I
sure.
think if you're trying to get onto the top one, the four's
No, you're not
probably
going to the
staying
top.
over
You're,
here.
you're literally just put 4 into the 6.
Yeah, and
Very
you can
good,
see
very
they're looking at the combination of
You're
trying to
thinking
come
now that
off
you're going
something
more
and
not
into that
from here,
yellow.
you might
They're
get
looking at
unlucky
that in-off that Team Jacobs was worried about earlier.
I think you can.
While Team Whyte is deliberating here, we'll give a shout out to some of the sponsors of this event, of the second annual Astec Safety Challenge. We're thrilled to be here at the Lloyd Curling Club for this event. Again, fantastic event put on by
Does that definitely
the
come back?
organizing committee,
don't
all the
think the board comes back
volunteers. We'll give a shout out to the sponsors, which this event, which with a $125,000 prize purse won't be able to happen. So we'll shout
I
out
think if
to
you're throwing
the
the head,
title
it's probably
sponsor,
something like
Astec
that.
Safety, presenting
I wondered if you
sponsor,
could
Wild
throw
Rose
something
Pump and
here,
Compression,
you might maybe left this for your
Strathcona
last, so you have to
Resources,
kinda take it off.
M&P,
Maybe weld here. You have to probably throw guard. And
You
you
just
might
played
have
this
the-
bump.
and we'll have a look too at the
Okay, so
junior
we're
clinic.
probably all
Yeah,
the same.
Team
This one's the
Jacobs
best
was
challenge.
part of this yesterday with some local juniors here in Lloydminster. Just great for the juniors to be able to share the ice with some world-class curlers and pick up a tip or two, I'm sure.
Yeah, Team Jacobs and then some of the other teams were also helping out, giving some great advice on skills and just technical strategy things with all the teams. They had a few stations that all these young curlers from the community of Lloydminster and the surrounding areas were going through. So what an invaluable experience for them. To work with these top elite curlers. Team Jacobs, of course, so those are some great shots there. There's Mark Candy with Team
It's
Jacobs.
great to see these high-level teams that just love the sport and love giving back. And
Yeah.
that's where they all started one time too, right? So
Yeah, great to get back to the game. I know you and I try and do that in some way, Chris, with our coaching, in some ways. So, yeah, you're always trying to, develop, the game, and, that's part of the passion of the curling community. It's a really small curling community.
big shot here from Ross Whyte. Looks like he's playing the intern, trying to hit this outside yellow and come across. What has he got?
Really close. Oh.
Really close, but yellow remains shot with one.
Yeah, great shot here, and just look at the replay. Just wanted to hit that a bit thicker. Great shot, just not quite shot
Just
out of
curl the
that.
hair on him.
Yeah.
You guys see this? Maybe for one? Is that for one, maybe? If he's just throwing back 4, does he maybe get one on the intern side? Maybe, okay. What else you guys seeing here then? What are we taking away? I would be more worried that he could make this for 2. But it looks like it's going to touch this red. Okay. Yeah.
We're potentially
I think it
seeing a
touches.
way that Team Whyte could score 2 there, and weighing the risks here. So
I do think he has that out-turn chase for 2, guys.
Yeah,
I do think
the
it's fair
easiest
for-
shot I'm seeing for Team Whyte is this out turn on the red, and not that's an easy shot. You can just see a sliver of that red from our view right now as we're looking at the screen. It's a great view from kind of the hack from the thrower's perspective.
Maybe.
Other shot, of course, being just the red, yellow combination, just with quiet takeout weight. So
and
they
they're all
kind of
gone.
have options on both sides, which Team Jacobs is trying to figure out how they can potentially guard both.
So we talked about maybe that tap and just split that center line a little bit, guard both sides.
Yeah, so, and that's never an easy shot, but they're trying to, would try and get 2 guards out of 1 by splitting that tight center guard.
Foot bump, half or off. Okay. How about you? Okay.
I think that's what they've settled on too here, Chris.
Yeah, sounds like he said about half rock there, bump
Nibble
and
the top yellow
and split.
Make it for
He
what
said
it
make
is.
2 guards out of 1 and
Actually, you put
try to get out here with a steal of 1.
It might actually make it for 2 anyway.
Yeah, I don't see anything on the off the reds for Team White. The reds in the 12-foot on the side. So it's a good call. It's a tough shot to play such a precise split like this. I suspect Brad will be close.
Jacobs with his last, without the hammer.
Let him in for line!
Sweepers like this on and off.
This looks like this is really curling.
Line! Whoa, whoa, whoa. Watch the spin here, Benny. Curl if you can. Curl if you can. Curl if you can. Keep going, keep going.
Maybe still take away that out turn side, Brandon?
What? You still got this.
I still do think it's there. It's definitely a tighter port for sure. But the thing is that kind of frames it also for Team White. So you never like to do that when a team can get straight through port and can make a shot like that. It's framed it up for them a little bit. So they liked that out of his hand, and then kind of partway down they said hard line. So just grabbed, you know, some fresh curl, went a little bit wider for that guard, and just seemed to just lose it. I've noticed that you know, in our game this morning and this afternoon here. So that's what the ice conditions have been like here in Lloyd. The more ice you take, it's essentially kind of dished. So the wider you go, the more curl you get, which kind of seems interesting. You'd think the more ice you take, you know, it's not going to curl as much, but that means that the sides of the sheet are built up essentially. So more curl, the farther out wide you go. Just think of it kind of as, you know, your breakfast cereal dish there. The further up you are in the bowl, the more it's going to go down, the more it's going to curl. So
I always love a good cereal analogy, Brandon.
oh yeah, that's, I was trying to think of a good analogy there, and that's, you know, I butchered it a little bit, Chris, but there it is.
Either works, mate. You're literally 3/4.
So he's liking this out turn side, looking at all options here. Looks like he's maybe even, is he looking at running this yellow into that situation, Brad?
Yeah, it looks like that's a call here. Yellow onto, and I believe he's going yellow straight onto his red in the kind of top button area there.
3/4, just 8 seconds.
I wonder if this shot is still possible if he goes yellow onto yellow, and he still could potentially get big. And I think he actually might be playing that, Chris, and trying to score a huge end going yellow onto yellow. And there might potentially be a run back double here. It's a huge shot here for Ross Whyte. Big run back here, last stone of the third end.
Ross Whyte, stone is delivered. What has he got? Sweeper's going hard on this. Just didn't curl enough. Jacobs will sneak away with a steal here of 1. Let's claw back into this game as they now trail Team White 3-2 after 3 ends here in Lloydminster.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Welcome back here to the
Well, if you lock one on, we're
Thanks
in
to the Lloydminster Curling Club and Studio Lloydminster for this excellent venue.
Because we can't really throw a second one, you know.
Yeah, we'll do a couple of more sponsor shoutouts here. So we mentioned, of course, Astec Safety, the title sponsor, and Wild Rose Pump and Compression, the presenting sponsor. We also have Arby's Lloydminster. There's the Arby's fan zone here, right here, just kind of on the side of the rink. So there are fans out here just watching the action. They're right on ice level on some bleachers out here. Which is fantastic. I wish they had Arby's curly fries out there. Chris and I, we could head out there. And then, of course, we also have the MMP VIP Lounge on ice level, just on the other side of the Lloyd Curling Club. We also have It's Time Promotions, Maz Entertainment as well. That's providing this awesome live stream coverage of the action for you.
So many great sponsors helping to put this event on this week, and we're grateful to be here. Some world-class curling, and we've got a real great game here.
Not yet, not yet. We'll get there.
It's Jacobs sitting one now. About what, half buried there? It looks like maybe not very buried, maybe a quarter buried. But pretty open. But
not the typical conventional setup. Ben wouldn't be happy with that. I'm sure everybody has watched Ben Heber play a few times. He's a perfectionist as lead and expects to get his rocks in perfect spots. So yeah, especially with that center guard, it's so critical for the leads to get that rock on the center line, especially with a no tick zone. And you really control the center when you have that rock right on the center line. So that, again, that's how critical those lead rocks are. Ooh.
Someone seemed to really get away on them.
And there you go. There's the commentator's curse.
Yeah.
Chris.
Just ticked that center
so
guard.
Ben Heber must have known what he was doing with that off-center center guard.
Put it right where it was dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So the key point, the other key point about those centerline guards is the no tick zone. So the other thing, if that rock was actually on the center line and Team Whyte had rubbed that guard and removed it off the center line, everything would go back, or I should say Team Jacobs in that case would have had the option to either leave the situation as is or remove the rock and kind of restore everything to what it was. So it's essentially like burned rock. It's like the free guard zone, of course, just for the no tick zone.
The defending team gets the choice.
You bet.
Tight? Yeah, I like it. He's good, Brett.
The second rocks here, Brett Gallant. Sitting one, Team Jacobs down by one, without hammer.
Max. Fine.
Looking to bring this, looks like just high in the house.
Fine.
Maybe just outside.
Yeah, and they said 5, which is really interesting because I think when they call 5, they're talking for a spot in the free guard zone. So typically free guard zones are broken down into zone number 1 being a high guard, 2 being halfway, and 3 being a tight guard. So that's just how precise these teams are. They've broken it down into 5 zones to be even more precise on the guards. Like you could hear Mark Kennedy, pardon me, yelling 5. Which in the traditional number system, which was introduced by Team Randy Furby, of course, many Canadians will be familiar with,
If he doesn't feather it, it's amazing.
curling fans around the world will be familiar with that name, know about the numbering system that Team Furby introduced into the game.
Just missed on that run back, almost got lucky there.
Yeah, almost sent it right back onto the Team Jacobs stone, but that is a pretty big mess. It leaves the door open here for Team Jacobs to throw another center guard and apply some pressure here to Team Whyte. Team Jacobs without hammer, looking to potentially settle in here for another steal.
And steal their way back into this.
3 guard.
Getting close to the halfway point of the game.
3.
And, got a close one.
Yeah, and this is where not quite in the fourth end, but we'll watch for it in the next couple of ends here. What we noticed playing today is the ice does, fantastic as the ice is, curling ice only holds up for so long, especially we are in a curling club here. So we do notice the speed just slows down about 3 to 4 feet or so as we play the back half of the game. So important thing for these top teams to watch out for.
To peel these guards and open up that center.
This is very close.
And they'll just stick the second, but they do get the one off the top forefoot. 2 center guards remain, but Team Whyte is shot, sitting back forefoot.
Yeah, and great shot. You see Duncan McFadden is disappointed with that result because he left the 2 guards. But a good result to get that rock off the top button area.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe a difference between in turn and out turn, I don't know.
Minimum, but it's close.
Just slightly.
Close to get all the way to center, yeah.
Going to come back in here, Brandon. Sit shot rock again behind these couple of guards.
Yeah, and I didn't see the call. I wonder if they're freezing right to that back red, just to make sure that rock doesn't go onto the scoreboard. Yeah, they are calling the freeze.
Kennedy with his out turn. Sweepers are really starting to carry this now.
Come on, guys. Come on, Betty. Come on, Betty. Come on,
And
Betty.
Hebert Breckland really dragging this.
Keep going, buddy. Keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going.
Really encouraging them to get it back as far as they can, and it'll come to rest.
Yeah,
Top forefoot is
fantastic
shot
sweep.
rock.
Yeah,
Not as deep as I'd like it, but still in a pretty nice spot.
Yeah, good.
great sweep by Ben Hebert. You can see that red face. It looks like he could use Brandon Cookson sweatband right about
That's
now.
right, yeah, the trademark.
The trademark headband, yeah.
And very little hesitation here as you might look to peel that top guard, maybe get a couple.
Carol.
And they will.
Yeah,
Great shot.
great shot. Robin Braden has been really impressive this game thus far with those peel-weight shots. He has made such great combinations, and he's really
Double
connected
peels
on
look
those
easy.
angles. Yeah.
And Mark Kennedy will be tasked with putting a center guard back up to guard their shot rock, sitting top 4.
Probably similar to the last
Yeah, and you
game.
mentioned this earlier, Chris. This is a little bit of that guard for your life situation for sure. So Team Jacobs will keep guarding. They'll keep delaying. It'll be that cat and mouse situation. Team Whyte will keep peeling, removing that guard.
At this point, down only 1-2, you'd be happy with a force and still be
That's good.
right back in the game. But 2-point deficit's not nearly as daunting as the 3-point.
Yeah, so you'll see Team Jacobs bring the play eventually into the rings. I suspect they'll do that on Brad's next to potentially set up that force that you alluded to, Chris.
Great guard there, just right where you wanted it. It's like maybe a sliver of that yellow shot rock sticking out on the outturn. It is a fairly high guard, so likely accessible.
Yeah, and that's the turn you would ideally probably like to just cheat a piece on to leave a potential jam opportunity there and not give also Team Whyte a hit and roll behind the corner guard.
Ah, close.
Sorry.
They're talking about a hack waiter. It's a risky call, but if you make it, you might set up for a potential big end.
Like it's so thin.
And Team Jacobs wouldn't be upset with that call either, leaving that center guard.
So they are going to peel the center now, though.
Yeah, and I do think this is the right call. You're up 1 with hammer. You don't want to entertain Team Jacobs making a better shot into the top button area.
And just a straight peel. As we move on to skip rocks with Brad Jacobs first, and it looks like he is going to replace that guard here with his first.
Yeah, I thought they might bring the play into the rings, but yeah, we'll see if he caps it off perfectly. It'd be a good situation. He might do that on his next. We'll see if he keeps guarding. The thing you'd have to be careful about coming into the rings, playing that yellow onto red, is leaving a double. So Brad acknowledges that, and he's seen the guard here. They just want to bite the center line here, and don't want to bring it too tight to the rings either to allow Team White a run back double off the Team Jacobs yellow in the top 4 foot. So first stone here of the 4th end for Team Brad Jacobs.
Careful, a little bit of room, line's
the
good.
intern guard.
Line's good. Straight.
Looking the line here.
Gonna over curl if anything.
Worried about the over curl here. Just gonna let it die there now. And we come to rest, just touching that center line.
Good.
A little bit high, but still guarding that shot rock.
Yeah, good result. Would want that a hair deeper and not as much curl. We'll see if Ross Whyte takes on the chase here. As we can see, it's the rock is totally buried.
13.
So it's edge on edge, a very precise shot.
With the way this ice finishes, Brandon, you think that's still pretty accessible there?
I think so. This is the spot, as I mentioned earlier with my cereal bowl reference, we are lower in the bowl right now, so there isn't as much curl in this spot, but still enough where I think this shot will be made. It is tricky, so they might be looking for a little bit of curl from that outside sweeper.
Like that ice?
You brought up a better reference, and I've already forgotten what I should replace with the cereal bowl. The
I
half
think the
pipe.
cereal bowl's going to stick now.
Okay, yeah, the cereal bowl is never going to leave me. They're going to be like, oh, it's a cereal bowl guy. Yeah.
Ross Whyte with his first on the way, looking to hit this and probably stick around if possible.
And they called for 13 seconds, which is just backline weight.
Just clean.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Really precise shot here. It'll be hard to get by this guard.
So there you see on the curl, like we talked about.
Will they push it far enough? Not quite.
See, yeah, that's the thing. We kind of, the cereal bowl reference came in handy there. So that is a little bit of that straighter area. There's just not as much curl in that tighter line, and that's kind of typical for ice that is dished.
Yeah. Just dead sunk, bite the button. 13-4.
Jacobs looking to maybe sink another one in here, sit 2 with no chance of a double, and force the single here.
This is getting any quicker.
I forgot about a little bit.
Yeah, he's still got some precision required here. Does not want to leave a double for multiple points. So got to really make sure he's got the placement. You can see Mark Kennedy's got his broom placed kind of top button, top 4 foot, biting the center line. Huge draw here for Brad Jacobs. Last stone here for Brad Jacobs. Huge shot in the 4th end without hammer.
Line's good. Line's perfect. Well then, never has to curl. Never has to curl. Just top here then. Just here. I know. Stay close. Just bite the button. Might be okay, Brad.
So a little bit of an over curl there for Team Jacobs. Slightly heavy. We'll see if there's a double opportunity here. They might have opened up the door for a potential score here. It's a very tough shot. I think what Team White would be trying to do here, like a control weight kind of takeout, trying to get low.
So they did get a bit fortunate where that top one is staggered. It looks like it may jam on that red.
Yeah, if you hit it perfectly, it would go by. But I don't believe it is there for 3. It might be for 2.
I think 11
Oh,
and a half.
and yeah, you're seeing Robin drop an in off as well. A risky shot, as you could give up a steal of 2 if you miscue on that. So huge shot here for Ross Whyte. I believe he's thrown, we didn't see the weight call, but looks like about a control weight. Trying to get a hair low side on these yellows for potential. We'll see. I don't think for 3. 2-ender at least, maybe.
Ross Whyte with his last here in the 4th.
Easy.
For a little more curl out of this. Not a lot of weight here. By the guard. What do they got?
Just a hair more curl on that one to get a little bit more low side across the face. And yeah, that will be a single for Team Whyte, and they lead 4-2 after 4 ends. And we'll be right back.
The official soundtrack to Canada's only border city, 1061, The GOAT. Stay connected with mylloydminsternow.com. The GOAT. Everything that rocks. 1061, The GOAT.
Welcome back, everyone, for joining here at the Astec Safety Challenge. We're just starting 5th end action here. Team Whyte versus Team Jacobs. Team Whyte with the 4-2 lead after 4 ends.
It's almost like falling into it.
So we'll give you guys another little update around the rink here. On sheet 2, Team Jakes and Team Balance. Team Balance with the 3-2 lead after 4 ends.
Sorry?
On sheet 3, Team DeConnick Smith, the local team from the Lloyd area versus Team Carruthers, and they got a big steal of 1 in the 5th end, so Team DeConnick Smith with the 3-1 lead, playing the 6th end. Sheet 5, Team Tau versus Team Libis. Team Tau 4-3 over Libis, playing 5. And we have a final on sheet 6. Team Dunstone, after just 3 ends, just took down Team Retornaz 8-0.
Wow.
And that's an early night for Team Retornaz. And they'll drop down to the B side now. And then finally, sheet 7, Team Howard has a 3-2 lead over Team Guju, playing the 5th end.
Big steal in the 4th there for Team Howard.
Yeah, and of course on sheet 4 here, this is a really big A-side battle, A-side semifinal. Winner of this would be playing in the event final tomorrow. So this is, of course, we didn't talk about the format, Chris, but it is a triple knockout format. So three losses, and you would be out of the Astec Safety Challenge.
That team's obviously hoping to avoid that, and if you can run through the A through to the qualifier, I think that's obviously a great route to take.
Yeah, so there's 3 qualifiers of the A event, 3 out of the B event, and then 2 out of the C event. So, and then there'll be 8 in the playoffs starting Friday evening, quarterfinals.
And Hebert delivering his 2nd here in the 4th. Jacobs down 2, but they do have the hammer here in the 5th end, playing the Yellow Rocks. Looking to freeze the spread. They come up a little bit short. and just bounce off that top guard. We're lucky to have some very mild conditions here outside, but does that wreak havoc on the ice makers at all with these wild temperature changes outside? I think we're about +2 here this afternoon. So.
Yeah, I think they definitely prefer it to the -40, -50 weather conditions last year at the Astec Safety Challenge. If it gets too warm, definitely that presents a little bit of a challenge just to keep the ice. But overall, no, the warm conditions, sometimes even can be potentially more curl in the ice, and it's potentially a little bit straighter.
A little more unpredictable. Just a little touch of that top guard. 2 in a row we've seen not quite get by the guard. That one seemed to have the weight, but just didn't quite get by. Whyte does sit 2 here without hammer in the 5th end. Brett Gallant delivering. Good for the roll underneath, and not much roll there. Just a little bit inside a nose, and it'll sit right there for a second shot.
Yeah, not looking like a great situation for Deuce for Team Jacobs right now. Team Out trying to make the hit and roll here, trying to keep control of this end and keep control of that kind of top 12 control zone area in front of the rings and at the top of the rings.
We're going to talk about this one a little more.
Yeah, we'll listen in here.
I wasn't wanting to move this, literally just a couple inches. Well, you can touch this. I'm just scared, like if we do this, he just blasts the double. You go here, he plays a bump, and then we're... If you do that, it's fine. 12?
So calling for a 12 here, Brandon. So just kind of a just through scenario.
Yeah, about hack weight. Yeah, through the rings and to the hack. The 12 seconds trying to hit and roll here off that yellow.
Well, clean. Off. Curl.
On and off here. Now Rob and Bryden taking it on the curl.
Curl.
Just a little roll to the inside, removes that yellow rock. And
yeah, and that's
sitting
exactly
really nice.
what they call the hit and roll, and then to tap their red just a little bit over.
Sitting 2 fairly buried back there now. That red one does have a little piece sticking out on the left side as you're looking at it.
Yeah, and the problem is those reds are hard to deal with for Team Jacobs.
He'll choose to ignore them and look to come right behind them, try to generate his deuce here.
Yeah, definitely taking some risk with hammer here, leaving those reds at the top, but Brad's kind of, his hand is forced here. If he tries to double off those reds, he loses shooter, so trying to go right around top 4. Can't afford to be deep here and allow Team Whyte to throw freeze.
Lat delivers his second. It's looking great. Can they drag it by? Just going to rack on that top. Whyte was really good there, Brandon, but just broke a little more on them than they were expecting, it looked like.
They got out there in the high part of the cereal bowl, Chris.
That's right.
And that is how this ice is. Anytime you go that hair a bit wider, just that little bit more curl. We've noticed it consistently throughout the day today.
Kennedy and Hebert, two of the best in the game. Those two have swept a rock or two together over the years, Brandon.
Yeah, of course they were the kind of the dynamic duo. They were probably some of the best sweepers in the world, especially when they're playing with Team Martin. One of the best front ends during that time when Team Martin was so dominant in the late 2000s and into the early 2010s.
Team Whyte just looking to remove this red one and potentially sit 3. Really put the pressure on Team Jacobs here. And they will. Just kick their own over a little bit more. Still buried, 2 buried, and that one red one sitting on the outside on the left.
It said 26 on it. So, what did I say? Yours was 11?
Yeah, good shot. And Brad, again, is forced to deal with these reds. There's not a great draw opportunity. And again, Team Whyte is controlling that top of the rings. They have a ton of those reds that they can use and tap back. So Brad's recognizing that and going to kind of bail out here.
Can Mark get all 3 of these going, Brandon?
Yeah, we'll have a look at the angle here and see if we could get an overhead.
Looks like he's going to come down.
Yeah, I don't think the middle one goes.
Those reds aren't very good for him right now. We could just do this right now. Open up this draw, maybe get shot, sit buried.
Listening to Mark here, he brings up a good point. Yeah.
So reds aren't really great on the left for him.
So maybe one of those two. I didn't hate that first shot. Just
we'll listen into the discussion.
Can I get shot with the roll behind the corner? Like, I certainly think I like that play of something on that red one. I think it gives us the best chance. Even if I roll over here and I'm 3rd shot, I mean, it's a setup shot, right?
Well, if you make the roll, you'd be shot off.
It's close. It's close.
I know. Then it opens up his drawings here.
Maybe save that one for later. I think those hook them a bit over there, you're right. So let's make this roll behind the corner. This is our best chance to maybe set up a in-turn draw on my second one.
So yeah, looks like they've settled on the hidden roll off the red rock here, trying to get right behind their yellow corner guard. Yeah, I like that. That's a good call for sure.
That broom looks close, guys.
Still tricky leaving those 2 reds for Team Whyte in the top of the 12-foot, but good execution on this, and might potentially flip this end to put some pressure on Team Whyte and set up a multiple score.
Looks like this is going to be on the center guard. Right out of his hand. Looks like that one was
Sorry, Brad.
Destined for that guard, Brandon. Missed opportunity there for Team Jacobs. Whyte now sits 3 up 2, but without hammer, and really have that front blocked off. Only skip rocks remaining.
How much? Well,
Yeah, surprising result there for Mark.
I think
That overcurled by a lot.
especially now.
Wonder if they thought that grab, because that really wasn't close.
I like that ice as well.
Really opens up the door. Advantage back here for Team White to tap one of those reds into the top of the rings.
Clean! Clean! Clean it!
So calling for the clean here. You and Kyle staying down here.
Hard!
Going to tap this right into the top button, top 4 area.
Hard! Right to
It's looking really good here, Brandon. There's the tap. How far will he get it back? And almost full 4, half into the 4 foot.
Yeah, great shot by
really
Robin
close-fed rush
Bryden.
that
He's
you-
been
all
dialed
just
in
snapping,
throughout
like,
this
you need
game.
to-
And that is an intimidating wall of red rocks up there,
Good shot,
Brandon.
Yeah, nice, good throw.
Yeah,
I was trying to tell, like, you must
yeah.
work
Team
down,
Jacobs
same
is
as the
forced to bail here. They can't play a really aggressive shot on this. They're going to have to eliminate some red to give Brad an opportunity to at least score here. I'm not seeing multiple come up at this point, so it's kind of cleanup crew here for Mark Kennedy. And you could hear Brad Jacobs say half rock, so looking for a half rock double. I don't believe there's a triple.
Brad, just a little bit more.
Mark asking for more
No
ice.
evidence that this is going to go backward. It's just run nice and straight.
Whatever it is, Rice Krispie ball.
We're on the way from Kennedy.
And he's throwing some heat at this.
Looking to get some of these reds moving. What does he
On and
got?
off here.
2, tap the 3rd, but won't quite eliminate it. But he does remove 2 from play. Looking a little better than it did a few seconds ago, Brandon.
Yeah, that's better.
Do they have this cat?
A little unfortunate that he tapped that Team White Red Rock right onto the pin. So there, that's a difficult rock to deal with for Team Jacobs. They can't score without removing that. But yeah, good cleanup. At least Brad has a little bit more breathing room for his rocks.
Probably some curl there. I probably have to be positive, but it's probably the first rock down there in an hour. Yeah, they did.
Top 8. Yeah.
You heard what Mark Candy said, first rock down there in an hour, and he's talking about his rock that overcurled drastically. That I was going to say outturn, but he's a lefty. It was his intern, so it was a fresh path, and it had been played for quite some time. So grabbed, a little bit of that fresh spot that had been played and curled drastically. So he's saying want to throw it when these teams talk about throwing it more positive. They're talking about using all the brooms, so not a slow release. So getting right back to the broom. Even being potentially a little bit full with some extra rotation.
Well, that's not a big issue, is it? If he's
it's
rolling
important
that
to throw that way, especially on ice like
The
this,
main thing is
that curls so much, and at those Grand Slams, which these top teams play at all the time.
Give up here. It's just I don't know what it's going to be.
So where are we trying? Are we going above it?
I think you're fully 12, like split the line.
But does that not still leave him this?
Yeah.
Very tough.
Yeah.
I'm kind of seeing this, mate, I think.
Okay.
You in top 4? Yeah. I'll ask the boys and see what they think, but
I think anyone in there, he's got a tough
Team
one.
Jacobs looks like they're going to have their work cut out for him to even score here, let alone generate more than one.
To just open up.
Yeah, good opportunity for Ross Whyte. I believe the call is to kind of go top 8 here, fully buried behind that red center guard.
the run double, but there's a good chance it rolls out.
And potentially set up a steal opportunity.
High, kind of 12 as he plays this double and roll, sits there, and then all of a sudden where we can't guard because he's just got these runs. So, bite the forfeit. Right, yeah, I would agree.
No, I know, out there.
More ice than what Robin
Like over the hog line, once it's past the hog line. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like my can guard that one end might have hit that and just kind of went sideways.
Went really for it.
Queen!
Line's
First
good.
rock here for Ross Whyte.
Right!
Line's great.
playing with
Line's
the
good.
fifth end.
Jacobs here.
Line's good. Anything.
Hi, Ben. Line will be good.
Get it in. Carl.
15-5. Not quite in the range.
Coming in there nice. And just touches the center line. Does it
Yeah,
leave a little bit of a bail of a double on this left side, possibly, Brandon?
Yeah, I do think Ross wanted to be in on that, so you can see him kind of shaking his head there. He's not happy with that result. But yeah, double here for sure. The only thing with this is Brad Jacobs is going to have to roll left as we're looking at the screen, so his rock, his shooter coming in is going to be wide open, and we'll leave Ross Whyte with him roll back under cover. But Brad's hand again is kind of forced here, trying to make a double takeout, leave himself some breathing room to score.
Brad Jacobs with his first here in the fifth. Trailing 4-2 with hammer. Looking to make the double. Open this up for his last shot. And there it is. Red one will spill out the back. A little help from Mark Kennedy.
Yeah,
and
great
then
shot.
Roll in and sit one.
Nice part about that too is Brad was able to roll his shooter way over, so that does make this hit and roll tricky for Ross Whyte. And if he doesn't get fully buried, we might get a blank out of all this,
Touch more ice
Chris.
than what I gave you then.
Hard to believe the way this end looked a few rocks ago.
Okay, well, if he makes the roll here, Brad, you probably have that in-turn draw. Seeing some curl there.
Yeah. I think this should curl quite nicely. Yeah, I think so. I think that's nice ice for 11.
So Ross Whyte with his last stone here of the fifth end, looking for the hit and roll buried. Very precise shot.
And the out turn. Nice
Yes,
control
lead
weight
it.
here.
Yep.
Starting to move on. Off and on. Let's be close here, Brandon.
Yeah. On the curl now, looks like they got this too thin.
And it looks like
And
we
the
are
cereal
gonna see a
bowl
blank.
analogy comes in, going right up the cereal bowl. We do see some of those inside out shots, especially as the ice gets worn in, just a little bit straighter. So they got caught in a straight spot there. They were on and off thinking it was close, but even we just came off sheet 4 and that inside out spot was running quite straight in some areas. So just things to be aware of. That's part of the precision in the ice reading that makes these teams so great.
So straightforward blank for Team Jacobs, and they will carry hammer into the sixth end, still trailing Team Whyte 4-2. We'll be right back.
At It's Time Promotions, we make your brand stand out. From custom apparel made with precision, to headwear that puts your brand front and center, and vinyl decals that make your brand stick. We deliver promotional materials and print solutions that leave a lasting impression. With locations in Lloydminster and Provost, we proudly ship Canada-wide. It's Time Promotions, where your brand comes to life.
Like people, businesses have their journey, their path. Sometimes straight, but more often evolving, growing, and adapting to a changing world. Creating the need for knowledge in areas like accounting, consulting, tax, technology. Areas critical to your continued growth and success. All part of the journey. All part of what we do, together with you. Because your success is the destination. MNP, wherever business takes you.
Welcome back to the Astec Curling Challenge Here at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center, here in the 6th end, we've got a battle between Team White and Team Jacobs. White throwing the Red Rocks, up by 2, but Jacobs does retain the hammer here into the 6 with the Yellow Rocks, and got out of a bit of trouble there at the end of last end, Brandon.
Yeah, it was looking like a potential steal opportunity for Team White. So nice double by Brad Jacobs to get out of it. And they'll be happy to take hammer into 6 into those even ends. You hear lots of talk about the importance of even ends. So you want to keep, so right now, Team Jacobs, if you play this out, they should have 2 hammers to Team White's 1. They'd have hammer in the 6th and the 8th ends. So they won't be pleased that they're down 2 points, but they've got the key hammer in those even ends. We'll give a little bit of an update again around the rink here. On sheet 2, we've got Team Balance and Team Jakes tied 3-3 after 5 ends. On sheet 3, again, the local Team DeConnick Smith with a huge, another big steal versus Team Carruthers. They're up 4-1, playing 7. Sheet 5, Team Tau is got the 5-3 lead over Team Libis. We have, of course, the final, Team Dunstone 8-0 over Team Retornes. And then finally on sheet 7, Team Gushu with a big deuce in the 5th end. They lead Team Howard, playing 4-3, playing the 6th end. And of course, Team Howard, lots of you listening would probably think that's Glenn Howard. Glenn, of course, retired from the game. I believe that was last season, just with injury, and I believe Glenn is in his early 60s, so his son is at the helm.
Played at a high level for a lot of years. Very familiar face around the game.
A lot of years, yeah, understatement, right? Yeah, for decades, Glenn, one of the best to play the game here in Canada and throughout the world. I believe he is, I'm not sure if he's here this weekend, but I know he is the coach of course, his son's team here, Team Howard.
No, it was very short miss.
So looking for the corner guard here, and Jacobs will look to set up that deuce, and as you mentioned, score here in the 6th and retain that even end advantage.
Yeah, double corners, they're definitely looking to score a multiple point end, so that's a key thing when you're throwing those. That first corner guard, again, Ben won't be thrilled with that. It's a little bit close to the center line and a little bit high as well.
And they'll even that up right beside the first rock Ben threw. 2 great corner guards there.
Yeah, and the reason why I said you would want a little bit wider, the reason you want those corner guards kind of off the 4-foot line, which is the blue lines outside the center as we're looking at, the 4-foot lines on either side of the center line there, is because it kind of cuts off, the tighter it is to the center line, it cuts off a draw path to the center. So you want those as leads. You want to get those wide off that 4-foot line and a little bit deeper like that, kind of 2 to 3 guard.
A lot of shots to make. He's so long, he has to make this really good.
Listening as Team White discusses this, it must be getting a little colder out there. Seeing Skip Ross Whyte throw on the extra winter jacket out there.
Extra winter jacket. Ross Whyte does not look like he needs one of my sweatbands, so be looking at me sideways.
Shots, we've not seen the lines on, I reckon.
Looks like they're kind of debating back and forth about throwing a guard. Oh.
Well, looks like that's what they've elected to do here.
Yeah, I like the guard in this situation. You could try and bring another red rock into the rings, maybe cut off one of those corner guards. But Team Jacobs is going to need to clear these red guards up the center, so I like this call.
Line's good. Line's great.
You're still the 1-2? Oh, fuck. That's the one we thought might curl.
Just needs to sit for line.
I haven't seen evidence of it yet.
Give me a really high guard here. Just over.
Good job.
But it does move to the center line and cover those 2 red rocks.
Yeah, and that's a great shot. And of course, the red guard's out of our view here, but you want that just over, and that gives max separation to make those run backs even harder. Of course, the more distance there is, and there's a good view of it. Of course, max distance between those 2 guards, the high red guard and lift one tight to the rings. And good call here from Team Jacobs. Brad recognizing how high that one guard is. So instead of trying to play the run back, he's going to try essentially play a split, remove that tight red guard, and then roll a shooter into the rings potentially. Big shot here for Brett Gallant.
Kennedy and Hebert having to really go on this one. Get it by that high center guard. Are they by? And they are.
Really digging in. Still got to go to get that shooter rolled into the rings.
Quite roll into the rings, but did you split that red rock? It is into the house. Second shot.
Yeah, a little bit thinner, a little more weight. You heard Mark Kennedy just say a little bit light. And part of the reason, you know, Brett might have just been straight light, but like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of the point of the game where the speed just slows down just that couple feet. So thing for the players, of course, you know, they're some of the best in the world, then they'd be cognizant of that.
Whyte looking to put up another guard here, it looks like, Brandon, and continue to put pressure on Jacobs to deal with these rocks and force him into making these plays instead of trying to generate some points on his own.
He's only full 8.
Just over curling.
Just short of the ring. Yeah, it's not really much.
Just over curling.
Oh, nice shot. Well-placed guard
Yeah, it's a good shot now.
from Duncan McFadgen.
Oh, yeah. I almost like took a turn back a way, just as it stopped. I don't even know if
When it came just like almost turned back on itself.
Oh, it
Might have something underneath it.
is he?
We'll listen
Full
in
8?
here to Mark Kennedy.
The only other option is you could just go now. Around the yellows. Good shot, though.
Gonna have a little team meeting here with Mark, and here come Brett and Ben to discuss as well.
Horse shot. Like if you go intern around the world right now to the T line around the yellows, he's almost having to try to play the double peel.
Well, if we thought the last time was
I just see anything you do with this out turn right now, you're probably bumping him in. Like, fuck, he might be biting the forefoot over there now, and then it's a bigger problem.
Is it a stupid shot right now?
Too nice shots. Too nice shots.
Wow.
What if the effort just play the double peel in the middle?
Very much probably steel country. First one.
Like 4 corner guards.
Yeah, like a hackle.
That saying we're likely to push the red behind the yellow.
We are. I think
It's a pretty good shot though, if you can move it over to the 4-foot line and roll buried.
Here's a good look at Team Jacobs and the situation. So they're debating between just going, when they're talking, Mark said go around the world, he's talking about going around those 2 corner guards on the right-hand side of your screen there and trying to get shot stone. He said T-line. Anywhere shot, though, that would be good, a good result. Problem with that, you know, which Brad was kind of suggesting, is that red rock for Team Whyte in the top 8 foot is in such a good position for them to use. So they want to kind of deal with that as well, that dangerous red stone. See what they've settled on. Yeah, it looks like they are trying to get rid of that dangerous red stone, kind of with a... Well, let's see. Looks like based off the broom, that's kind of hack weight.
It's like a pretty narrow port through here, Brandon, from up here.
A very precise shot. He's got to have perfect weight and line. So big shot here for Brett Gallant.
Do it. Definitely. Wait's good.
Gallant delivers, looking to take out this red shot rock. Supers are going hard for curl now. Mark Kennedy trying to drag this over, get it past that outside yellow. And he is. Good Great precision shot. Will they push it back far enough? Not quite, just back to the 4-foot. Does move it off the center line. But Red continues to sit one here without hammer in the 6th.
How'd you make it?
Yeah, tough shot. Not bad. Not great. That they want to get that red rock further. And that yellow rock is accessible for a hit. So that was a very tough shot again. Just again, we're in that tighter area where there's a bit less curl.
The only way I ever see it is intern at weight. Just with the rotation, it's going to take it this way.
I can't see in the out.
How much can you see of it?
We have to make a couple of good taps here. Just less than all of it. I have to make a couple of taps. Just where the guards are, the intern's tough. Yeah, that's about it. We threw that freeze earlier in the game.
The only other shot is there.
Back 8, back 4.
They might be able to play that though.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Only if the hit's there.
I can throw it less weight. 9's good.
I'm not fussed on the weight.
More concerned if he rolls this top 4. That's not ice. What's that ice for?
So can you just play off that that yellow one, Brandon, or come right by that into the house?
Carl.
Yeah, they're trying to hit the team Jacobs rock, that second shot. And just a little bit wide on that.
Okay. Out turn side, running fairly straight and catching a couple of teams here tonight.
Guys, what changes? Is it still not the out turn freeze, bump it a rock?
The cereal bowl takes another victim, Chris.
I think so.
And funny you should mention that, but because of that cereal bowl effect, this outside draw probably is a little more accessible. A little more curl out here than you'd expect.
100%, yeah. And you want to make sure you get all the way out here on these because of that extra curl. It would curl even more than you'd expect, which is kind of tricky to wrap your mind around when you've seen a few rocks running straight. So Mark wants to get all the way out here and throw a good weight.
I think the speed out here is pretty good. But I do think it's just got to kind of be that positive 14,
none of them are easy. This is kind of wide as well. It's like,
am I aiming for T-line?
Robin might be able to, if he makes this freeze, play it at 10 and try and get into the side.
We're getting to that point of the game too, Brandon. Is this maybe going to need a couple extra feet on it for weight?
One with the potentially yes. The thing that we were noticing today is the speed was actually running really good out in the wings when you're out in this wider line. You see Ben Hebert on the broom the whole way here.
Come on, Benny.
Trying to get right to the tee line. Great line, but just going to come up a bit short. It's a third shot here, but Team Whyte does remain shot rock and pretty well buried back there at the back of the 4 foot right now.
Yeah, and that yellow rock is almost another guard for that red Ross Whyte stone.
Okay. Stop them drawing in.
Not the result Mark was looking for. He kind of wanted to make sure he was all the way back to that red rock.
Okay.
Even tapping it would have been okay, so not the pro side miss he was kind of looking for.
Yep, 11.
Yeah. Yeah. Come in here more, Russ. Yeah, fuck.
Clean. Clean.
Yep. Whoa.
Clean.
Off.
Third rocks here in the 6th.
Clean.
Looking for the hit.
Clean. Yep. Whoa,
Little roll in.
Yep. Yes.
Great shot.
On off, yep, absolutely. Knew that one was close again.
Does open up this out turn side though, and maybe gives Jacobs a path in here. Try to get something buried in here for shot.
It's a great replay, very nice. Another great precise hit by Robin Bryden.
Yeah.
I think one of the key players so far of this game. He's set up Team Whyte perfectly with some well executed, really key hit rolls and run
well,
backs.
it's either the hole with
place
some
draws.
weight or there's stubble here.
Listen in here as Team Jacobs discusses this next shot.
It's probably that. It's probably the low roll.
It's quite hard to call a line in this. Sometimes it just calls it. That's cleaned the whole way and it just snapped a wee bit at the end.
I was a lot less aggressive than the first.
I know. But it just is different sometimes.
What was it?
10-8. Nice
Yeah,
work, Whyte.
yeah. Well, it's either the low roll or through the hole. Well, it's either the low roll off that wide one or through the hole. Probably board, maybe a 10.5. Yeah. Yeah. Trying to hit like, what were you seeing there, Brett, a third? Third? Thinking I might need a little less, Brad. Yeah. Okay.
So it looks like they have elected for the hit here, hit and roll in.
Yeah, very precise. Another precise hit and roll here called for Mark Kennedy.
It's of course his intern.
Yeah, the lefty intern
Whoa!
here.
Whoa!
So this will be called off and on here. Looks like we should be close. There's the hit. There's the roll right to the back one. What a great shot.
Yeah, they were just a little bit further. They were, yeah, fantastic shot there. Just trying to get sitting third as well to push that red a hair bit further, but fantastic shot by Mark Kennedy. Got that angle perfect.
Jacobs does sit one here in the sixth, but as we move to skip rocks, there's still wait to see what happens here, Brandon.
Yeah, well, and still a great opportunity, though, for as great as that shot was from Mark Kennedy. Still an opportunity here for Ross Whyte to get a rock buried, top four, top line, and put the pressure back on
Not as much said as,
Brad Jacobs again.
but I wanted to give it a good go. You missing a rock?
They just took all our stones. Every day you see this.
We've got an interesting situation here.
Is that how you guys won? Throwing 10 shots every end?
Is that how they won?
There it looks like there were some rocks taken from sheet 3 where there was a final. Did not want to give Team Whyte an opportunity to play any more rocks this end.
Hard to throw when you don't have
Team
any rocks.
Jacobs must have friends on sheet 3. And there was a final there on sheet 3 is Team DeConnick Smith, the local team from the Lloyd area, with a big upset over Team Carruthers.
Yeah, Team Carruthers playing shorthanded with only 3, but still a really formidable team. So great performance, great win for Team DeConnick Smith.
Yeah, and Team DeConnick Smith with the youngest player in the event, 15-year-old Jax Robson. Shout out to him. They gave Team Gushu, a run for their money this afternoon. Went right down to the 8th end, and Team Gushu had to make a draw the bun. So Team DeConnick Smith having a great event thus far.
Line's good.
And they advance on into the B event.
Ross Whyte with his first here in the 6th.
Curl when we can.
Line's good.
Looking to get this into the 4-foot shot rock. Surfers are going hard to drag this.
Yeah,
very close. It looks like they did get it. They're sit shot, but a little bit out in the open there for them, possibly, Brandon.
Yeah, decent result. Would have liked, preferred a bit more curl.
It is buried behind that tall center guard, but of course that is a ways up there, so there's a fair bit of room to get around it. Move this red, but as you noted, it doesn't move a lot here inside the 4-foot lines. So.
Yeah, that's a good look at the situation there with the guard. So Brad Jacobs can't see all of that.
Yeah, he does. He's got to make it.
He'd be wanting to really make sure he gets to the face of this. I'm guessing he's likely going to play a tap on that red. Try and get behind the tee line and keep a shooter.
Not every day you see your stones bump.
I said to them, I was like, no wonder they got one so easily. 10 stones in that sheet.
No? I think it matters. You gotta get the nose.
The umpire fella.
If you killed it,
hope they
if
brought
you
you the
killed
right
it.
stones.
Let's say you pushed
hope
it
they brought
to
me one
here.
more.
It may bring that one into play. He might have to be a little more careful through the hole with a bomb. 'Cause
Guys,
if he lost the shooter, and jammed this here, you might have a shot for 3. You're trying to nose? Trying to nose? Okay. Okay.
Just needed a couple of feet of running so they could curl at the end.
Jacob's heading down to throw his first rock.
No, we just didn't want to leave it.
He's
too
going to come
far
after
out.
this
I'd
red
rather
one, just
half of
thrown
the
by
ball
Ross
getting
Whyte.
buried.
Also, almost like you're biting them straight again.
Not taking a lot of ice here, as I said. It might not move much here, but trying to get to as close as we can to the nose to above it and bump it back.
Just by the red and
Possibly sit 2 if they can get in there, Brandon.
Yeah, very precise to sit 2, even if they get that red just behind the tee line and are sitting 1 after this with that Team Jacobs rock just in the top 4 in a good spot to use on Brad's
Clean!
next.
Yep! Whoa! Clean! Curl! Curl, curl,
For some
curl!
curl on this.
Curl,
Holding
curl,
on that
curl!
4-foot line. Here
Keep
it comes
going.
now.
Keep going! Clean! Clean! Straight! 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 Straight!
Hit and back. Great shot. Sitting 2 in the 4-foot, pushes it all the way back to the back 8.
Good shot.
Team Jacobs sitting 2 with hammer.
Good shot. Holy shit, yeah. Got that dancing. Nice.
Yeah,
Nice throw.
great shot by Brad. Very
Unless I've got a bit of
precise. He
this,
threw the
maybe
perfect weight there just to get that rock just out of the 4-foot.
But
wait,
really
I
finish
can put
those last few feet there, too.
Yeah, and a good call from Mark Kennedy. He's
Kind of hold the section
one of the
I think we
best
go whatever we-
thirds in the world, of course,
10-5.
and
I think
was
it's a
perfectly
10-5
called on
also,
and
like,
off the whole
yeah,
way.
maybe 10-5.
I think 11 struggles to get
Get it
down.
back, I would agree.
Okay, 10-5.
10-5.
It's not a,
We've
not
seen
a
quite a few
super
down here.
easy hole.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's just not an easy hole. Just
This
there.
line got a touch of bite recently, but I think that's close to 10-5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ross Whyte does have a little piece of this red with a port here down the center, it looks like. Is he going to
You
give
know
this
what?
a
He's
run?
probably getting him over the top.
Yeah, it looks like he thinks he can
I
get
just want
rid of
kind of roll it
both
right onto the
reds
the
with
outside
some
drop for
weight here. He took a bit of ice, so I don't think he's throwing it too hard. He might just be trying to remove the one. There's a great look at it.
Yeah,
Looks
not a
like he
ton of
could
room
just
there.
remove the one
think he can
Jacob
ever jam
stone
one
and see
here.
if he can get some action with it spinning in for a shot.
His 6 will be in a spot.
Still have to navigate this port. Whyte with his last
Shot is soft.
here in the 6th.
Clean. Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Go.
Close here.
Go.
Has he got the port?
Go. Go.
On the curl, very
But
close.
he does. Great try, but Jacobs will still sit 1.
Yeah, great shot. Hair thicker, and he might have even got shot stone
Are we
out
shot?
of that. It was,
Not a lot of room to navigate on this court,
No.
just
I
by
could've
those
been
outside
called
2 yellows.
yeah.
Definitely could have. Just too hit it was. Okay.
But of course, there could have been a draw for 3 there had he wicked on one of those guards. So, still a good result to limit potentially a 2. Jacobs does have a fairly routine open draw here.
Yeah, both teams relatively happy. Of course, this is what Team Jacobs want. They want to get multiple points in the 6th end. They'll carry hammer again, of course, into
Just needed the curl.
ideally, of course, for them in the 8th end. So
just thought we
big
caught yellow.
big draw here, though. This isn't automatic, but I suspect Brad will be close. He does need to get a piece of the button here. Big last shot for Brad. Needs to get a piece of the button here with his last stone of the 6th end.
Line's good.
Sick curl pretty early, like.
Hard line.
Blant and Hebert on the brushes and Kennedy on the call. Oh, and this one is, they're giving up on this, Brandon.
One. Yep.
Not sure what happened there, but it It'll only be one for Jacobs. So as we head into the 7th end, Whyte still leads Jacobs 4-3.
And what's the
Welcome back to opening night at the Astec Curling Challenge. Here at Sheet
Go
4, Ross Whyte avoided giving up the tie there. Jacobs had an open draw for 2, but came up light, and Whyte is up 4-3 heading into the 7 and with hammers. Pretty nice spot to be in.
Yeah, surprising miss from Brad Jacobs. Looks like it wasn't close on that. Not sure what happened. We were chatting about that, so not sure if it just grabbed something. But yeah, and wasn't able to capitalize on the deuce opportunity. So Team Whyte with a big lead.
Line's good.
Guess not a huge lead, but important lead, of course. Yeah, good position, up 1 and with hammer.
There is room to throw a tight guard if we want to.
Jacobs' first is right on the center line, so in that no-tick zone.
14-5.
In case Whyte was looking at potentially blanking this and carrying hammer into the 8th.
Yeah.
Ever important first shot.
Well, it was just always there. I could have swept it earlier. It's just hard to trust. It looked like it was sliding on a bit, and then it just all going just starts to bite.
That 3 on the scoreboard looms large up there, Brandon.
Next week.
Bunch of singles otherwise.
It does. That was.
I gotta get by.
3-baller is never a good thing that you want to give up on this level, at this level. So, yeah, still work to do for Team Jacobs to get back into this game with a couple ends left to play. Yeah, again, the venue looking just fantastic here, the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center. Thanks again. Big shout out to the city of Lloydminster as well for the venue. We've mentioned, of course, the tireless work and efforts of the Astec Safety Challenge, the organizing committee, and the volunteers for making this event happen, and all of the details, the hospitality with welcoming these teams, the top teams in the world and throughout Canada. 2 of them, of course, one being from Scotland here and Team Jacobs, Alberta-based team. The hospitality, the quality of the event has been second to none, and this is just the first day, and the shot making on the ice has been incredible. We also, while we're giving shout outs, of course, again, really big, important to recognize the ice crew, of course, Brian and Graydon and the Lloyd Curling Club with the ice making team for the unbelievable job they did, because they lost the ice on Christmas Eve on December 24th due to a mechanical failure. So they've worked tireless hours to get this ice in top shape, and just over 10 days to host this world-class event. We also want to give a thanks to RL Electric for working on the motor, and the city of Lloydminster for their help and support as well. Yeah, no easy feat when you lose the ice.
No.
Just a little over a week before a world-class event. Yeah, the Lloydminster.
Time it couldn't be worse.
Yeah, the Lloydminster Curling Club has had a couple speed bumps this year, and you know the community has just came around and rallied and really supported everything, which is incredible to see. That's part of the really special part about curling. You get to see just that how tight-knit the community is and how everybody comes in and chips in and supports.
Got a few rocks in play here.
Single.
Jacobs looking to steal this end.
Sure.
I would imagine. Possibly limit to one, but not in an enviable position here.
Shot. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Curl. Okay.
Looking to clear out the front here as they'll rip that center guard. Jacobs looking for a 2 here, so a high guard.
Yeah, it's going to be, we've referenced this a few times, that cat and mouse game of throwing the guard and then the peel of the guard. So Team Jacobs is going to go really hard for the force this end. You know, ideally steal. The steal situation isn't looking great at the moment. But again, Team Jacobs will keep replacing that guard and then wait for their best opportunity to bring the play back into the rings and deal with those 2 red rocks that are in a good position for Team Whyte.
Not quite back to the center line here, but very close, and looks pretty accurate to that too that Brad Jacobs was asking for.
I don't love the long one, though. I like that. The chance it drags and misses this. Good chance it hits it.
Discussion here on how to best deal with these rocks in front, belonging to Team Jacobs.
Yeah, that guard did not get to the center line, so not ideal result there for Brick Gallant.
10.5.
We'll see. Team Whyte will try and remove the. I don't know if there's a double there, but they might be going for the double kind of across the face, trying to play it thin. They will lose their red rock as well on the top button, I believe. But I think they're okay with that, just to clean up, and might be a potential blank opportunity if they make 3 rocks go away right now.
And there's 1, there's 2. Will they be able to get it out the back? Not quite. Looks like it'll stick around back 12. They will remove 1 and move it out of that dangerous position in front.
Okay, good shot.
Yeah, again, ideally, of course, they would like to get the yellow guy right over there, but great shot. They are sitting 2, and it's a great situation there. The center line's basically wide open. There's only 1 lonely yellow guard for Team Jacobs to work with. And Brad's, of course, again, recognize that, and he's going to throw a tight center guard.
Wow, thanks for that. No.
Mark Kennedy with his first. Here playing 7, down 1, without the hammer. Yeah, for a tight guard here, close to that center line.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Will just slip into the rings, but still ahead of that red counter.
Yeah, again, not ideal. That because it went into the rings, you can see it over curled, so Team Whyte can see a piece of this from the hack, as we were looking at earlier. There's a good shot of the angle. Looks like they're just going to play hack to board Whyte. I haven't heard too many references. You hear this a lot. Scotland, the barrier Whyte. I don't think I've heard that barrier for board.
Rings a bell from last year. I think we maybe heard that quite a bit.
Hear that a little bit more from Mowat, maybe, yeah.
Something you'll have to introduce for your curling teams. Brandon, of course, coaches the Lakeland College Wrestlers, and off to regionals next weekend in Edmonton.
Yeah, great shout out for our Lakeland Wrestlers curling teams. They are, they're off to Edmonton at the Thistle Curling Club next weekend, and that's part of the Alberta College's athletic conference. So it'll be an exciting weekend as the top collegiate teams in Alberta try to qualify for the ACAC Provincial Championships.
Same line I just threw.
Jacobs with an opportunity to freeze that rock. Looks like it's right on the tee line, but a position that they could get in front of it and maybe not be shot, but be in a really good position to steal.
Yeah, no, unfortunate miss, pardon me, from Robin Bryden. He had a good opportunity there to potentially sit 3 and just feathered that yellow over and left Team Jacob sitting second shot and with this freeze opportunity. Mark Kennedy looking to capitalize.
It's looking great here. It's brushing it down right on top of that red rock. Will be second shot, but in a pretty nice spot and definitely on the high side where it's impossible to pick it off of there. Maybe not impossible. Very difficult, I should say.
Very difficult, yeah. It doesn't look like they're going to entertain trying that shot. Looks like they're going to play the safe shot. I think that's a smart call with Hammer here, not wanting to take too much risk.
We're not shot right now.
Whoa! Off it!
Trying to even get that yellow on the side if they can.
Just a straight peel.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wondering where. Is it maybe a guard that we could maybe use?
It's cold out there on the ice tonight, but things are heating up in the MNP VIP lounge over there.
I think he's probably giving
It is
that a
popping
go.
in the MNP
The
VIP
tighter we are, the harder
lounge.
it
Yeah.
A lot of fans here tonight, taking this all in. Some great games on the ice tonight.
Yeah, one of
world-class
the
teams.
other great sponsors of this event.
fourth-
Pretty busy, also in the Arby's
think it's just a
fan
nice tight
zone.
guard.
Some of the other sponsors as well. Of course, Astec
But my point
Safety,
was
the
the
title
tighter we
sponsor. Wild Rose
harder
Pump and
that shot
Compression,
is to get it
presenting
over the
sponsor.
top.
Strathcona Resources. It's Time Promotion. Maz Entertainment. Musgrave Agencies. Store Rate. Lakeside
And we could
Pharmacy.
cheat. Yeah, you're right. You're
Bar Engineering.
right. Okay, 4 or
And
5.
Fountain Tire Lloydminster, just to name a few.
Thank you to all the sponsors and volunteers, everyone that's made this event possible. So we just get to sit here and enjoy some world-class curling in our backyard or at home on your couch on YouTube, watching on YouTube. Is Jacobs looking to replace this guard, Brandon?
I think so. I didn't see where they put their broom, but I imagine that's going to be the call here. Just guard not too tight to allow Team Whyte to potential run back to get rid of some yellow rocks. It needs to be well placed to not allow Team Whyte an opportunity to chase that yellow rock in the top.
Line's
end.
good.
Jacobs with his first here in 7.
Right
Trailing
here.
Ross Whyte,
Line's
4-3
good.
without Hammer.
Line's good.
Throwing the yellow rocks.
Line's good. Could probably
for the guard
just
here.
curl a little bit. Yep. No, you're good. You've cheated.
Just want to ensure they expose that high side again to prevent that pick out of there.
This
Easy
kinda rolls
pick.
on top.
Yeah, nice spot for that guard for sure. He guarded the right side of it, the more center line side as we're looking at it. So well placed guard by Brad Jacobs.
Then got to move this somewhere. Right, make this. He has to move this.
The
probably gonna
fear,
get
the
double
fear
back.
is it goes into here.
It should always spin.
Well, it could
Force
spin
plays
back.
almost
It's
as good
like,
as
it's
steel.
not a guarantee it goes underneath.
Clearly not taking it.
That's what I just said.
Lots of games coming down to the wire here in the last draw of day 1 of the Astec
think that's
Safety
the show.
Challenge. We've got
Committed to just a harder slide.
We've got
Couldn't believe how- I think
Team
you're right, Rosie. If we're
Balance
freezing
with a
here and he
6-5
comes off
lead,
this,
playing
not good.
8. Team Balance with a hammer, up 1. We have the final, of
I
course, that we
agree,
mentioned
yeah.
earlier, Team Degonic Smith with a big 6-1 victory over Team Carruthers. On sheet 5
think it'd be very
is
unlucky to
Team
do that.
Tau with a 5-4 lead over Team Libis. Team Tau has the hammer, playing 5. Another final that we mentioned earlier, Team Dunstone with a huge
Absolute.
8-0
10.5
win
probably
over
okay?
Team Retornas from Italy.
Yeah.
And then finally on sheet
think it's a
7
10.5,
for
Rob.
all the Team Guju fans throughout Canada and the world, Gushu is down 5-4 with Hammer playing
I
8
think
to Team Howard.
across the face is very
And optimistic news for the Guju fans. Brad and team are sitting 3 right now currently, so we'll keep you. Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated as the final rocks are being thrown in this 8th end. We're playing 7 currently.
Unless he happens to get unlucky and roll this all the way into the 4 foot off this one. Boom, boom. Problem is, if he makes this double, you have a tougher decision.
Whyte looking to move some rocks here, throwing some up weight.
Whoa! 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 Carl!
He'll just drive it past. He's hoping to up it back onto that other yellow in the rings and possibly get some ground at moving towards the middle, but we'll make the straight peel.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. You trying to roll the 6 over to the side of the 4?
10.5. Sorry, man. Actually,
Question for you. If you nose it with 10.5, do you think the 6 is rolling far enough that he doesn't have the nose double? I want this 6 to kick to here. It's just a harder score. But I think it's close. It's close. It was more of a hypothetical question. No, I think 10.5 on the nose is perfect. Okay.
So here's, of course, the switch that we knew was going to happen eventually because Team Whyte is shot stone. And that Brad Jacobs shot the yellow onto red is pretty much automatic. Very short little raise here. You could hear Mark Kennedy saying he'd like to roll the yellow, the top button, over to the side of the 4 foot to not allow an easy double for Ross Whyte for a single. So precise shot here for Brad Jacobs, looking for, I'd say, about nose hit, maybe gain a hair low on the center line side, trying to cross the face of the rock.
Easy, clean,
Nice easy weight, but hanging out there a little bit.
clean.
Trying to get to the
Yeah,
nose.
they're cleaning it.
That's the last rock.
Clean, watch the 6 here.
Let's get a little bit to the inside.
Wow, that's a great
spot.
shot. That's exactly what Mark was talking about, not leaving an easy double for Ross Whyte to score, which he hasn't. And not easy to hit either of those rocks and get shot. Definitely can't hit them on the top 4, and it would be a very difficult draw. Great shot by Brad Jacobs. That was very precise and well executed.
I don't think he gives that double a go for 1-9. That's where
10, 10.5.
Too much for them not enough at the same time.
Well, you just need. If you're
Listen
moving
in.
this, you're not at 10.5.
Really
You're going to
important
stay in the
shot here for
4 foot.
Ross
It's just
Whyte.
need
They're
to go
going
out
to
the 4
talk
foot.
this through.
10.5 on the end turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should track pretty nice and it'll curl up at the end.
Yeah. 10 3/4.
Yeah. You can throw 11 if you want.
Oh, I like 10.5.
That's good.
Yeah. 10.5, 11, we're thinking, yeah.
It's Whyte with his last here in the 7th.
Yeah, looking for the double and can't roll too far. Really precise shot.
Go, Carl! Go on, move
Really
it!
close here.
Carl! Go on, move it! Carl! Whoa! Whoa!
There's the hit, the double, and the roll.
Yeah, great shot. That was not easy. Had to hit that perfectly and not can throw too much weight there, so he didn't lose the shooter. So Ross Whyte picks up his single there and leads 5-3, playing 8. Team Jacobs with hammer going into the 8th end.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Yeah, welcome back to the Astec Safety Challenge presented by Wild Rose Pump and Compression here at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center. Final end action here. It is Team Jacobs down 2, down 5-3, and they have Hammer looking for a deuce, at least to tie the game, 3 for the win.
I like round.
Definitely possible with a 5-rock rule with 2 well-placed corner guards.
Little light but close.
And we do have a final, another one on sheet 7 for the Gushu lovers out there. Team Gushu gets a big 4-ender in the 8th end, and they will defeat Team Scott Howard 8-5. And we'll keep you updated on the other sheets as we know the other finals and who's advancing on these A side and B side matchups this evening.
Brad and his team over there taking some time meeting fans on the way off the ice. So he's very personal with the fans, which is awesome.
Yeah, and we're in Alberta, or we're in Saskatchewan, I suppose, Alberta/Saskatchewan, and I saw a couple Newfoundland flags out there, so pretty cool.
Yep. Yes. Yes. Whoa.
Whyte looking to come around their own rock here, and they will. They come to rest just right on the tee line.
Yeah, nice setup for you and Kyle.
Jacobs will, of course, ignore those and look to put up his other corner guard. Keep these as even as possible.
Reminder, this is a A-side semifinal matchup. The winner of this game gets to face Team Gushu in an A qualifier tomorrow at 12:30. The loser gets to play yours truly, Team Scott Manners, at 9 a.m. bright and early.
It's a quick turnaround. We're already after 10 o'clock here, of course, in Lloydminster. So. And we've got at least one end to go. This is a tight game. You never know. We could be going extras tonight, Brandon.
Oh, Chris, don't jinx us here. That's a commentator's curse. We love the action.
See the guards?
It's been fantastic.
They're locking. It's not great.
I'm not convinced, but
My
first thought was freeze middle, but
Whyte.
Sorry, mate.
You're my first thought was just come in. Your first two, right where you wanted them, and
it's up to you. I don't mind the guard either.
With this fifth rock
Very comfortable. We can chase around the corners.
Playing a freeze.
Yeah, interesting call. They're bringing another rock into the rings. I thought they would play a guard here.
They're doing that right now.
They've elected to freeze to their own here.
And we do have another final on sheet 5. It is Team Tau over Team Libis.
Yep, the one back by.
Top 4. Line's good.
Oh, yeah.
Close.
Top 4.
Yep.
Wait's good.
Yes.
Wait's good. Top
yes.
button. Top button.
Clean. Line's good.
14-3 I got.
No. Shot. 14-1, boys.
There you go, Dunk. Either one. Yeah. I think the freeze is good. Sure. Okay. 14 and a quarter. Ross. Borderline.
There's a great freeze there by Duncan McFadgen. Brett Gallant looking to follow him down. Even a little tap on those reds.
Wait, close.
Make sure that
T-line.
that Team Jacobs has a little bit of wiggle room here to score their deuce.
Yeah, really, both teams executing well this end, but Whyte really got those rocks very early on here.
Yeah, it's a classic setup from the front ends here. Two great corners, great placement on all the rocks here. The freezes, the rocks in the top 12.
Had a 4-10. Everything's
You're a
pretty
fan
dead.
Of, lots of rocks in the house and some angles. If we got a deal for you, this is shaping up to be an interesting end.
Yeah,
Good
we've
try.
got a really good finish coming right down to the wire here.
Rep that then. If he's got nothing on this side, then just rep that corner.
They could probably produce something on that side at some point.
Yeah, Ross's first inclination was to run the red
like the
in on the
guard.
nose and get rid of
That'd be my last choice. It'd either be
guard.
this
If
run
he has
or
corners,
sorry.
He'll get there eventually.
You could hear
Well, you've got to
Ross
leave
saying
that one
the
to
guard
leave the
would
guard.
be my
Hit the
last
guard.
choice.
So
I guess he's
definitely not then.
I don't mind the guard here,
But
Chris.
that's
If
the
you're
same
pretty
mix
all in, would
Yeah,
you
it
throw the
would
guard
be,
here?
that's for
You've
sure,
got
but-
yeah, you've got two rocks in the button area. It would be pretty, would be a little bit risky knowing the hitting
He's either coming
power
right
of
this corner or
Team
he's going on top of
Jacobs.
No matter what, you're at least two shots to remove
You're on
that
top
center
of
red
there
one,
again,
and
you
you,
blast
the
the
one
top
right in
one
the
off,
middle
the
stuck
middle
between
one's
those
still
other two. But
All the plays right in the middle at least.
last thing you want
Yeah,
to do
that
is
was
give
high.
up
We got
that
one
chance
getting
for
in
two.
there
You
for
want to end
sure.
it right here. So
The middle one should stay at that point. He blasts
Team
out
White.
because we keep one red in there.
Yeah, I'm
one
pretty
yellow, and
comfortable
we're
this
coming
one's
around.
staying.
Yeah.
Well, I
Let's
get
not steal this. We could
yeah,
get
you
it.
don't want to take on too
We
much
hate it,
risk
then-
without
no,
hammer
I don't hate
here,
it.
which
Yeah,
is
I know.
why
Well,
Ross
he
is
doesn't
saying
have
the
to do
guard
much
is
right now,
his
is it?
what
No,
would
it's
be
just if
his
they can get to,
last
like, there.
option, but
Should be chaseable.
not a
Should
bad
be.
option.
They can make it really good. It's tough.
Thank you, Les.
I'll give him it.
And looks like they're just throwing the single peel on the corner guard here. It's a good call without hammer here and being up two. Again, throwing a bit of caution to the wind, not wanting to play with too much risk.
straight peel here. Those guards are totally even across there, so no chance to remove more than one. Nice easy peel and avoid his zone red at the top of the 12.
Yeah, we actually thought about freezing another, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I think this is a call that Team Whyte was anticipating as well. Just Jacobs trying to lock another one on. Even again, a little bit of a tap to get some separation, get some space there would be fine. But really key part is getting right to the face there, freezing on the proper
a little
angle.
more.
Wait there.
Top.
A little tighter. Wait's good.
Sweepers calling Wait's good.
Wait's good.
Coming in here, Ben Hebert now.
Just looking to lock this red on top again. Kennedy's going to take it right to the nose.
Yeah.
Little bump and
Great shot.
got four in a row there.
Yeah, that's a perfect angle on those rocks for your team.
Try to stick it here.
Jacobs.
Try roll
Really
away.
good execution. The
Trust.
precision in this
Two
eighth
thirds.
end thus far has just been bang on. Ross trying to, he kind of mentioned he's going to try plant this, trying to plant his red. He's not going to get rid of both yellows, but will get rid of the one just in the top 8.
He's got a few rocks moving here.
Yeah, nice
Does unlock
shot.
that center.
Yeah.
Good job.
Jacob still sits one, but it's looking a little lonely back there behind that red second shot.
Little lonely. There is still a corner
spin
guard
half.
for Team Jacobs to work with.
Went through my head. Went through my head. Dead point.
Guys, I'll be somewhere in that.
Got one, then I've got it's a tough one. I can't
I'm
stick that
thinking
one.
speed will be close to what you just threw, Brett.
Probably was the shot, but it's something I read.
So, yeah, I thought. Okay, sounds good. Yeah.
Make a couple of good ones,
Yeah. I'll give you guys top 4 too.
So Mark Kennedy looking to utilize that corner guard. He is playing the come around, trying to
Brett's
go
rock
right
if
to
you have
the
to
tee
sweep it.
line.
Brett's rock. Lock it on. Line's good for the freeze if
Wants
you
to
can.
work it on the corner of that red
Get her lost then. Get her
stone.
lost.
Moved over there on the last shot. White team. Didn't quite finish there, but remains in the
I might have got a
open.
little
But it
full there.
looks like they've avoided setting up a double there, Brandon.
Yeah, I don't see a double there for Team
How much do you need for the
White.
double?
And then I
Half.
did hear them say they
Then
think
half.
there is a double.
I don't know if
third.
we're over the top of that red one or not.
Yeah,
Looks like it may
definitely,
jam, but-
definitely precise. They're looking at. I thought maybe they're talking about trying to hit the
You have a
yellow
look?
directly, but I think that go underneath.
The only other shot I'm seeing is this, Robin. And if you touch this, it might be okay. So I've always got it.
I think I've got it.
Oof, yeah,
I definitely have the double.
tough
Yeah,
shot.
Okay.
Yeah,
Make it.
I was trying to be anywhere in the vicinity. We just didn't have perfect
Okay.
line.
Yep.
If that's dead sunk, you could
We're
almost
thinking like
lose
a
that.
third,
Just be top 8.
slightly thicker than a third.
So I guess
works.
they're
Make
going-
sure it's
Top
over the
8,
top.
half open. He's got
I think it's
to be able
just
to
less
double
than
the
what I
other way.
see.
I agree.
Had to get blocked.
Yeah, so they are hitting the yellow directly. They do think the doubles here to try and kind of hit the back side of the second yellow in the 8 foot, and then
no.
bounce that up over the ring. So this is not an easy double.
Not a lot
But-
of that yellow rock poking out off the center line either.
Huge shot for Robin
Clean.
Bryden.
Yep. Hard. Clean. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Really close here, off and on. He got it, and he does.
Yeah,
Wow,
great
shot.
shot. That's a beauty.
Fuck's sakes.
Just been firing pistols here all day.
Yeah, Robin Bryden, like I know we kind of talked about earlier, but he's really been the key player here for Team White this game. He's just been making those great doubles, run backs, great precision on all of his shots tonight.
Okay, I think the
But
ice was
just
close. I
perfect.
was
Catch
just
the
a
back
little
of
bit
that,
full on
the
you, I
yellow
think.
rock, as you mentioned, and push
Right.
it over the top and avoid that jam.
A little less is good.
Kennedy looking to redo this freeze. Get a rock in position here.
Easy.
Lock it on
Easy.
this red one.
Guys,
or
don't
maybe
kill
a
it. Easy.
little above it. Matt and Hebert sticking close. Put it right on the center line.
Good sweep, guys.
Shot rock.
Do that on my first one. It's a little different.
In a pretty good spot just above that red one. Not enough room to really get there to push it out potentially. A little bit of a jam risk.
Juice is good. Oh, give me.
So we head into skip rocks here now in this 8th end. Team White is up 5-3, but Jacobs has the hammer. Laying one currently.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can't quite hear Team White here, but I
Perfect shot.
don't know
Tough
if
to
the
beat it.
chase is there.
Probably
They
put
could
out.
play a freeze on that yellow, but they're not willing to give up 2 here.
Oh, yeah.
or sorry,
Yep,
they're not
yep,
willing
as
to
long
give
as
up
your second
more
shot.
than 2, I should
Good
say.
call.
So they're just peeling the
I
corner
don't-
guard
Yeah, I don't even know if it
and
would be there.
conceding the fact that they
It'd be
might give
crazy
up
to play
2.
it, wouldn't they?
Ross might
You
have a
would have
double on
room to
his
roll
next.
our way a rock.
Yeah, then he's playing.
Smart call not to, play too much risk and potentially give up the loss here.
Roll
So
behind our yellow. Oh, off of this one. Oh, gotcha. Then you can't.
Ross Whyte, his first. Looking for the
Yes,
straight peel.
Yeah, I see.
yeah, nice shot. That was all he was looking for, of course, was just the single
Yeah.
peel.
Yeah, you will be second shot if he knows it. Just thinking of nosing it. Yeah.
Listen in here, like Mark said.
If
Just
he
think
hits
it
and
nosing
rolls this way, you
doesn't
mean?
think there'll be a
I was
double,
thinking
or if it
you haven't
does,
rolled
it would jam.
then there's, well,
Yeah. Do you think you can do that better going this way though? Do you get a little bit more of the 8-foot going this way? It's that, or you're probably drawing here, but
What do you like here, Chris? Personally, I like,
like
the
your
draw,
shot.
splitting
like
the
the nose.
rings.
little roll.
Yeah, I know there was some talk of that
No?
that hit
Yep.
on the center. Potentially second shot, although it's
Yep.
it'd be close.
yeah, that's true. Then you got the nose
yeah.
hit.
Could set up a double potentially.
Yeah, that's the only reason
What's your hit? What's your
I
weight here?
like the shot a little bit less.
10 and
Is
a half?
just the potential of setting up a double if you don't roll to the perfect spot here. That you're talking about just
Okay.
nose, which is
You
I
might
think is what they
see.
settled
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Important shot here to get right to the nose, as they discussed. Not leave a double here for Ross Whyte. Really critical shot here. Brad Jacobs with his first of the 8th end, down 2 with hammer. Ben Hebert on the curl here.
Trying to hit this right on the nose. Curl over a little bit here. A little bit, but still in a pretty nice spot there.
Yeah, and I don't think Ross Whyte, the double looks like all sorts of kind of troublesome jams on that double, so I don't think he'll take on that risk. Looks like he's calling the hidden roll off the yellow on the tee line. Try to get buried behind the yellow and just biting the top 8-foot.
Jacobs needs 2 to tie and is sitting 2 currently.
Yeah, and the
2 rocks
reason
left
that
to
would
come.
be such a good shot too, if Ross got that him roll perfectly buried, if Brad Jacobs only shot as a run back, his shooter wouldn't outcount that rock in the red rock there. Just out in the outside ring of the 8-foot. So very precise hit and roll required here.
Ross Whyte, his last here in the 8th.
Looking for the hit and roll.
Needs a little curl here. We'll get the hit, and
Wow,
pretty
yeah.
nice roll right underneath.
Great shot. That is not easy. Brad Jacobs, like I said, he cannot play that run back because he will not be sitting 2. That red, as we're looking at on the left, would outcount the Brad shooter. So he's going to attempt a lightweight chase just with backline hack kind to wait.
Does have that little catcher on the side, potentially, but it feels pretty flat there too. So
yeah, very precise shot.
Just a couple more inches of roll, and that shot's really tough for Jacobs.
Yeah, opportunity for the 2 and to send this game to extra ends. Last rock, 8th end, Brad Jacobs.
Mark Kennedy calling line. Hubert and Glant on the brushes. For a little curl out of this. Gotta be close. Are they by? They're by. Oh, great brush.
Yeah, great sweep is right.
Big 2 for Jacobs.
Almost lost that.
Here in the 8th, and we are off to extra ends.
Yeah, really
We'll
good
be back.
sweep.
At Strathcona Resources, we're more than just an energy company. We're a part of our communities. We take pride in hiring locals, creating opportunities right here at home, and fueling our community's growth. With safety at the heart of everything we do, we ensure a responsible and secure environment for our team and for our neighbors.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Bat has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Friends, little bonus coverage here at the Astec Curling Challenge opening night at the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Center. Jacobs finally able to put up a deuce for the first time in that game, and came at the right time as they tie it up. But Ross Whyte will have hammer here in this extra end.
Yeah, that was really a really well executed 8th end, back and forth. A great setup by the front end, lots of precise freezes, really precise hit and rolls from Team Whyte and Team Jacobs. And then a great last shot from Brad, just that soft little come around tap to get the deuce. And not the ideal spot for that guard for Ben Hebert. It's not that's bad. It's he would just want that either higher or tighter. It's kind of a no man's land right in the middle, so it'll be hard to throw 2 center guards on this. And maybe it sounds like that's a little bit picky, but that's the precision these top teams are looking for. And the shot making this game has been incredible, so those little differences go a long way.
Is Whyte electing to come around the center guard?
Yeah, you betcha. I believe Whyte will come around the center guard twice, and Jacobs will throw 2 guards, so you'll likely see another come around from Team Whyte. And I believe, yeah, Team Jacobs is just going to throw the high guard with Ben Hebert. So this is going to be, he's going to want to be as high as he possibly can here on this guard for max separation to not allow a double peel.
Looking for one of these just over high 1 guards, I guess, Brandon, we were talking about earlier.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
A little bit further than they'd like, but still a really precise shot. Pretty good, but maybe a chance for a double peel here later in the end.
Yeah, again, Ben will be disappointed in that over curled and a little bit deeper than he wanted. That will be, we've seen it all game here, the precision of Team Whyte with those double peels. That will be lined up for them. Can already see Duncan McFadgen, the second on the right as we look. He is eyeing up that double peel that he'll eventually be playing.
And looking to come around here again as you predicted.
You make me sound so smart, Chris, as predicted.
Well, that's what I'm here to do as a good broadcast partner. Just tap it to just behind the button. Sitting 2 with hammer.
Yeah, not ideal. You can see they're not happy with that because it did go behind the button. They tapped that too far. They want to get low side and just tap it kind of top 4, top button. This opens up the door for Brad Jacobs, Brett Gallant here to make a great freeze and set up a potential steal.
Gallant looking to freeze this right on top of that red one back button. Liking the line, it's all in the sweeper's hands now. Trying to drag it, just touch it. What a great shot.
Perfect shot by Brett Gallant. Right to the tee line, perfectly frozen. That's frozen, Chris.
That is frozen. I don't think you can pick that one, Brandon.
I don't think so. I guess there's a little separation, Chris.
Yeah, then we might
we can
be seeing this here. They are.
We can be picky up here.
That's right. They're playing the out turn side. Looks like a run back into the yellow one that was just frozen there by Gallant.
Yeah, and a good option here. This does look wide. They're going on the sweep the whole way.
Oh, and they were able to get it out. Great shot.
Yeah, nice shot. Duncan McFadden. Yeah. Good sweep on the curl there too by you and Kyle to get that over there. Really important too to release that back red. That was back button. That was good backing for Team Jacobs.
Jacobs look to hit and roll in here now. Behind that center guard.
Could kind of hear Brad indicating board weight, and then now talking about the draw. My initial thought was a hit as well. Only thing which I think why Mark Cundy's brought up the potential of the draw is, you know, they might be able to use that red at some point, but also that's a red that is useful potentially for Team Whyte. So always the thing you have to think when it's a must-deal situation. Sometimes the more rocks in the rings, the better, and that's kind of the philosophy with this call. And also, Brett Gallant just threw this draw.
Yeah, you should have a really good idea what this is. He threw his last one perfect down in the spot on the freeze. Now looking for the tap here. There's the tap, roll to the center, and there'll be shot rock.
Yeah, great shot. Two great shots by Brett Gallant.
And again,
Perfect.
as you predicted, here comes the double peel attempt. Got one, and just whistles by that second one on the way by.
Yeah, so close. He
Close to
actually
perfection.
just feathered it. Would have loved to get both those dangerous yellow guards for Team Jacobs off the center line. Does leave an opportunity for Team Jacobs still with a good guard here. Steal is still in play.
see where Jacobs was for sure asking for this, but likely just something out front here again on that center line.
Yeah, I think they're throwing a high guard over top of the yellow guard that's kind of halfway. Again, it'll be almost cat and mouse here. I don't know if Jacobs will play into the rings again. I think they're probably okay with that. They might try and tap that yellow up to get closer to the button, but I think they're pretty happy with where that yellow rock is for their steal point. So keep on guarding this situation for the time being.
His guard is just over the hog line. It's high guard. Jacobs continues to sit one without hammer late in the extra end.
Yeah, and this is quite a call from Ross Whyte, of course, looking to get all three, and the angles are there. They're very precise. Looks like it's about 3/4 on the very top yellow. And Robin has been throwing these great all game. He'll be close.
There's one, there's two. Just pick out his zone at the back. A little unfortunate there. But there's nothing to hide behind there now, so
yeah,
mission accomplished on getting rid of the
great double peel.
Jacobs does sit two, but nothing to hide behind up there.
Yeah, he's been deadly with those that game, this game. So again, talked about this earlier, but this is definitely guard for your life territory right now.
Absolutely.
Guard away, not too deep to allow some sort of double opportunity for Team Whyte.
Mark Kennedy with his last here in the extra end. Looking for the guard.
And they just want bite center. Breckelant trying to get this to curl.
It's a great spot.
Yeah, well placed. The only thing, of course, because we're up here and can pick away at things, is it did come a little bit deep, and the closer those rocks are together, there's a run back here. Last rock for Robin Bryden. And this is close as well.
Ooh, and he just stuck it.
Yeah.
Did move it off that 4-foot, though. As nice a spot as it was before for Team Jacobs. But also left that center guard.
Left the center guard. The only positive news is for Team Whyte is it is their guard now that they can use. Sending that into the rings.
We head into skip rocks.
Yeah, and Brad will, I think, ideally want to be like, we'll listen in here if we can. And we will not listen in. We will analyze continually here, as I'm told. We just lost audio on the players, just so you folks know at home.
Luckily, Mark is making it pretty easy for us to see what they're liking to do with his broom here. So discussing some options, maybe coming around this top center. A little worried about that run back double.
Yeah.
If it get too deep there.
And if that is a concern, you know, you could go deeper with this rock as well to leave it less short. Yeah, they're definitely respecting the hitting ability of Team Whyte. Worried about leaving them some sort of double or run back combinations, and worried for a right reason. They have been really accurate on those and connecting on those run backs and doubles throughout the game.
Full day of action here again at the Astec Curling Challenge, Astec Safety Challenge tomorrow for day 2 coming up as well. So a lot more good curling to
first draws go tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Again, a reminder, loser of this game drops to a B-side matchup versus Team Manners. And I believe all B-side matchups tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So you'll see those. So tune in, of course, again with us at either Curling's own YouTube or Lloyd Curling YouTube page to catch all the action tomorrow for day 2 of the Astec Safety Challenge presented by Wild Rose Pump and Compression.
Looks like Jacobs has decided on that top button buried here. With his first here in the extra end. Starting to move as it gets across that 4-foot line. It's looking great. Comes to a stop just above the pin. Buried center line.
Yeah,
great
shot.
Great judgment there. Great shot. Well executed. Now decision time for Team Whyte. As you mentioned, that is their rock up front, so some opportunity there if we needed for a run back.
Yeah, I think there's probably 2 calls which they're discussing. We'll kind of watch their brooms just because we can't hear them. But I think the options would be, yeah, either connecting on the red run back or trying to play, as we're looking at the screen, a soft weight out turn. Just tap and leave your shooter sitting there, try and get to the face.
Looks like they were looking at a potential double on the side too. Those rocks aren't quite even. It's fairly even across there, but
yeah, see, I see that as super even, and I don't see the double there, but these guys with their accuracy, and actually there's a good look at it. So yeah, quite flat. You'd have to throw weight, and of course throw the in-turn, probably at that, just to get a little bit of a higher roll to make that double. Not an easy shot. The key thing that's tough about that double is if you don't make it and you don't get that rock off the button, you're going to have a tough one on your next. But Ross seems to like this shot, so he's lined up the double. It's fairly thick. It's about 2/3 with quite a bit of speed here. And he'll be having it humming. This will definitely be peel weight coming down. Huge shot here for Ross Whyte. His first of the extra end. His first of the first extra end, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Nobody says it has to end at 1. We do have enough rocks in play that seems unlikely. As Whyte delivers. Looking for the double. Hit. Just a bit too thick.
Yeah, good shot. Again, he would have liked to get that yellow rock, like we kind of talked about, fully off the button area. I believe this will leave a freeze for Brad Jacobs, even a freeze tap option.
Yeah, if he freezes one in there, perfect. It's going to be really tough for Whyte to score here.
Yeah, they're also talking about a guard as well, so really only, from what I see, a couple options here. Definitely been lots of discussion in this game, but they're looking at either, I believe, freeze or a guard.
these rocks overlapped. I don't know if there's any way to take away every possible shot here from Whyte. What do you like here, Brandon?
Well, with the early morning that the loser of this team has, I'd like for them to throw a shot. I think. No, all jokes aside, I think I do like the freeze. That's what I was seeing at first, and they just they've thrown kind of that similar line here a few times. The guard, another good option for sure. They'd probably want to try and, overlap them a little bit so there's not a run backs. But again, precision need either way. What I think they're looking at is if they freeze the yellow perfectly, if Ross Whyte would just be able to bonk the yellow anywhere, the two yellows, the yellow that would be frozen and be shot stone. Definitely lots of conversation here.
If he does put one there, is there not a chance to maybe come around on that intern side and just tap your red slightly and push that other existing yellow out enough to be shot maybe? Not an easy shot, but definitely more makeable than some options. Brad Jacobs with his last here in the extra end. Settles in the hack.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they landed on actually. This looks like, pretty tight ice here, so they maybe are looking at a tap of some sort.
Happy with the weight here now. Super's gone off it. Now Ben Hebert trying to bring this over. Just by that guard. Tap on the red. Great shot.
Yeah, really
nice
good
spot.
shot. Hard to know, again, that's what they're talking about so much, is it's hard to know if Ross can just hit that on the nose and if he'll be shot stone. So they were definitely having a good look at it. It's hard to tell from this angle for sure.
Yeah, really hard to tell. I think with what's showing, it'd be tough to get to nose there too. You almost only have the almost a full rock, but if anything, the side you want showing is the wrong side.
The only other option which I'm seeing is, which I think they might play, is the run back in the red. Because they've got options. They can go the red and they're drying it out right now. Again, we can't hear them, so we'll kind of, speak for what their thought is. So there is a red tight guard that Team Whyte can run in kind of on the nose and get those yellows going.
That's a good shot of it there.
Yeah. Other option, of course, if that was to overcurl and still play the run back, they could come off their red and then into the yellow for the win. I don't think they'll play the direct hit on those yellows just in case they wouldn't get shot. It would be a risk for sure if you're not sure.
It's looking, if anything, it would want to kind of squirt to that center and potentially take away that shot rock position.
And you can see the players chatting and not sure, and they're all laughing and enjoying the competition, of course. It's been a well-curled game. And luckily, Chris, I think the blank is impossible here, so...
Yeah, I think we're looking at one last shot tonight. put that in such a great spot, just welded onto it, that it definitely made this decision a little tougher.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, Brad Jacobs playing the really tough, precise shot to push that red, roll perfectly froze.
Looking for it to curl a bit. Sweepers are off and on here. Here's the run back, and what has he got?
Oh.
Ooh, that is close. This may come down to a measure.
Yeah, looks like Mark Kennedy is conceding it, so it looks like the win for Team Ross Whyte. Red was shot stone there.
Or is that? Nope, they're going to measure it.
Well, they shook hands. From me,
I think they
that
conceded
looked
the
a little
game is
bit-
done. And,
They conceded the
and they're
game
ready
is
to
done.
go
That's
home
good
to bed.
call. Good call, Chris.
Yeah,
I thought he
this
conceded that is
I don't know how this
red.
looks at home, but I don't know. Should we want to place bets on this, Brandon? I don't know. It's very close. It's a great overhead shot there.
Yeah, I thought that by the handshakes that Mark thought it was red. I do also think it's red.
I'm going to go with yellow then here. We'll
Okay. We'll
have a friendly bet.
One last friendly bet for the evening, yeah.
Measuring an extra end, Brandon. You couldn't get a closer game than that. Wow.
Yeah, unreal precision at this game. It's came down to inches and centimeters every shot, so it's fitting that this comes down to a measure this game. Let's see if we can look here.
Quite see that dial, but
yeah, definitely went all the way around. The point was to red, so we'll have a look here.
point was to red? Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So the closest of margins. Team Whyte pulls out a victory in an extra end. Wow.
Just by the sliver, yeah.
That close, and they'll move on through the A final tomorrow.
Yes, against Team Gushu. So there's A final action going on tomorrow at 12:30. Tune back in again to Curling's own YouTube, Lloyd Curling YouTube, to catch the action in the A and B side tomorrow. Thanks, Chris. It's been a blast tonight, and
thank you all at home for joining us.
Game. Yeah.
Excellent game, excellent start to the Astec Curling Challenge, and we will see you again tomorrow.
Stay
tuned. Good luck on the ice tomorrow, Brandon.
Thanks, Chris. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Hey, Ben, what's the Astec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Astec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Astec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.